this assignment apa ni lah, you kena tulis lebih kurang dalam 700 patah perkataan. Menggelabah, aku tinggal sejam lagi kan. Masa tu tengah kelas. Masa tu I jadi student lah. So apa lagi, cikgu cakap kat depan, kat belakang kita buat lah, kita type sendiri kan. Tengok dapat 700 patah perkataan. Itu baru aku tahu aku boleh type dalam 700 patah perkataan dalam masa 1 jam.
Macam dia balik kepada soalan tadi, Prof. Kita punya justifikasi lah. Kalau saya lah, Muhammad saya tak tahu, Prof.
Aduh.
Tapi kalau saya lah,
Ah.
Prof, 1000 saya boleh type dalam masa sejam. Ni masalah dia, otak tak bergerak 1000, Prof. Mungkin 200-300 je.
Aduh. Tak apa, soalan peperiksaan. Dia merangkumi case study. Sebab korang punya level dia kena case study lah. So aku dah bagi satu case study. Case study tu pasal ini kita bagi gambaran lah. Sebenarnya kau pun boleh jawab. Dia skema tak ada. Jawapan apa dia pun diterima. Kan?
Okay.
Maka jawapan memang diterima lah jawapan. Jadi ikut kepandaian korang lah macam mana korang nak menyerang kan. Jadi dia gini, dia pasal financial institution. Di financial institution ni dia ada merger. So bila dia merger kan, dia venture dia merger kan. Katakanlah tak kisahlah kok, dia lebih kurang macam tu lah dia punya cerita. Ini kata kalau kau baca case tadi di satu round pun, dia sebenarnya aku bukan nak suruh kau mengulah balik dalam case tadi tu. Itu nak bagi gambaran saja apa masalah dia orang buat merger dan begitu kan. Jadi sebenarnya dia bersekitar kepada kalau orang merger ni apa isu? Apa masalah dia? Jadi kau kena fikirlah bila merger ni apa yang bagus, apa yang tak bagus. Bila tak bagus tu macam mana kau ni sebagai CEO kan? Hari kan kau CEO kan? CEO and President kan? So macam mana kau nak menangani masalah-masalah? Itu je. 3,000. Jadi case study tu sebenarnya kalau kau tak baca pun tak apa. Dah aku dah bagi soalan dah. Kan? Itu kalau baca tu saja je lah tak dapat tu. Tapi sebenarnya jawapan dia tak ada kat situ. Dia tak ada kat situ.
Ini untuk
Faham
final
tak?
lah, Prof.
Ni final lah. Ni final. Semi final belum lagi.
Oh, ada.
Dia ada semi final juga.
Aduh. Kan dapat bye. Terus pergi final. Tak ada semi.
Orang Arsenal mesti nak bapak bye je. Esok nak kena balon.
Hello lagi, Prof. Game dekat home tu. Let lu.
Asyik nak dapat bye je kerja dia.
Baik, Prof. Okey.
Tak apa, senang je. Bukan susah pun kan. Setakat ni datang dia gelak-gelak dapat A kan. Gelak-gelak dapat A kan.
Aduh, tu yang psycho ni. Aduh, gelak-gelak dapat A ni. Seram ni.
Kan sekolah tanya, budak-budak bayar ke apa dia kata kan. Nampak recording gelak-gelak je kan. Kan? Macam mana kau punya kaki? Okey dah?
Dah boleh, saya dah boleh pijak, cumanya tak boleh put pressure lah. Just jengket-jengket sikit. Jadi macam ayam sekejap lah.
So sekarang ni kau pergi office ke tak pergi office?
Semalam saya ada pergi.
Pergilah.
Say hi to staff lah. Tengok a few things yang outstanding. Lepas tu ada benda nak kena deliver juga.
Okey lah. So apa production terbaru ni?
Anwar Ibrahim.
Anwar Ibrahim punya collaboration? Macam mana kau jumpa Anwar Ibrahim untuk kau buat collaboration ni, kau kena jumpa dia dulu?
Semua design, sebab semua jam yang untuk Prime Minister kita ada letak signature. Jadi signature tu tak boleh salah guna. Kita kena minta approval. So macam saya buat untuk Tun Najib semua tu jumpa.
So macam dia ni kau kena jumpa, senang ke nak jumpa dia?
Senang lah.
Buat appointment lah, cakap nak pakai nak signature dia lah.
Ada orang lah, ada kawan.
Ada runner dia lah. Yang buat
ada kawan
ni lah.
Ada kawan on politics side lah, minta tolong lah.
Lepas tu kalau nak pakai orang-orang di benda ni, kena bayar dia mahal.
Tak. Ni Prof, ni memang kawan betul.
Kawan tolong lah.
Ni memang saya dah minta tolong dia. Saya selalunya kalau nak minta tolong kawan ni, saya kena make sure kawan saya tu lagi kaya daripada saya. Jadi dia tak minta duit saya.
Tak minta So macam ada
macam Muhammad kan, saya minta tolong Muhammad. Saya tahu Muhammad lagi kaya daripada saya, jadi duit saya tu tak laku lah, bro.
Macam tu. Okey.
Dah tahu dah trick dia.
So macam jam Anwar Ibrahim ni berapa harga dia?
lepas kita akan hantar dulu design kat dia. Masa kita jumpa dia. So once dia agreed, then dia kena letak harga. Sebab kita
Dia,
kita akan bagi base price. Base price tu dah
oh,
termasuk 30% kita punya untung lah.
sorry, tak faham. Macam, kenapa kau nak suruh Anak Ibrahim pula letak harga?
Sebab tu jam dia saya tak boleh bagi dia harga murah. Dia ada dia punya apa? Dia punya ego dia ada prestige dia. Dia ada price dia.
So, dia akan letak satu harga, lepas tu kau jual lah.
Saya jual lah.
Okay,
Sorry,
lepas tu, ah,
Hey Chan,
so,
how's going?
sorry sir that I'm late.
very late. Bukan late, very late.
Sorry sir, I'm very late.
Sorry sir, I'm very late. Okay, you say I'm late. It's 10 minutes. 10 minutes dah.
Sorry, sir.
Arsenal dah kalah dah. 10 minutes. Malaysia dah masuk gol lah lawan Korea.
Asik.
So what actually happened is that you ask Anwar Ibrahim to put the price, and then after that, okay lah, katakanlah dia letak satu harga 5,000 lah. So what happened?
Jual lah 5,000.
Okay, then does he get any cut ke tak dapat cut?
Kita bagi dia base price. Maksud dia saya tak bagi dia harga cost lah. Harga kita berapa, dan normally kita akan bagi dia recommended selling price. Sebab kita tahu harga jam tu sepatutnya tak boleh lebih that point lah. Kalau dia kata, okay, saya punya kawan-kawan boleh beli, you letak je harga ni. Macam Najib Razak cakap macam tu kan. Jadi kita buat macam tu lah, and it's proven lah. Sebab on the good part is marketing side, kita dah tak payah bayar lah. Najib promote sendiri. So Anwar Ibrahim will promote on dia punya side jugalah. Kita just promote sikit-sikit je lah. Free marketing.
So selalunya dia orang ni punya jam ni dalam berapa harga lah? Kalau macam Najib ke?
Semua 2,500 and above.
2,500 lah. So paling cokia pun 2,500 lah.
2,500. Betul.
Macam kes ni Anwar Ibrahim belum letak harga lagi lah.
Belum. Dia dah approve design. Cumanya next is meeting up for the contract signing lah.
Dia berapa piece lah dia punya? 100 Macam Najib pun 100 lah.
Najib pun 100.
100 tu biasanya sekejap dia habis lah.
100 normally tak sempat apa? Tak sempat promote.
Tak sempat nak promote habis lah.
Selalu masa signing contract tu ada satu kat board lah, kita minta dia signature kat board tu, sebab kita akan gantung kat office kita lah, sebab pure signature dia kan.
Habis lah.
So dia ambil gambar, dia akan post kat siapa entah, saya tak tahu lah. Najib buat macam tu lah, dia post tak sempat buat apa.
Dia post, lepas tu terus habis lah jam-jam dia.
Normally dia punya kita panggil dalam kaki tangan kerajaan ni, dia ada lembu-lembu yang menjaga dia orang semua lah.
Kita belilah.
Lembu-lembu ni punya order dia bukan 1-2 biji je, Prof. 20, 25.
Settle terus lah. Dia beli pun dia pergi kawan-kawan semua lah. So, katakanlah aku buat satu, lagi banyak 2,000 student aku ada.
Boleh, Prof.
Kan? Korang dah tentu kena beli. Kan? Yang tukang jual pun kena beli. Kan? Hari yang tukang buat pun kena beli. Dia kena beli 20.
Ini berniaga paksa ni sampai banyak buat duit ni.
Ni lah macam method jualan ni, ni.
Ini bawa venture. Ini bawa
Betul,
venture.
betul Prof. Zaman Piramli dah buat, kau mesti beli ni bros gigi. So betul, dia paksa, berniaga paksa.
Kan? Sekarang dah confirm beli. Chan dah tentu beli. Dia Manchester United, dia nak hidup tak nak? Kan?
5 biji.
3 biji tak lepas.
5.
Manchester United pun beli 20, dah ada 40 dah. Gaddafi beli 20, dah 40 lagi aku jual lah kat kelas lain. So hari ni ada siapa nak present hari ni? Bukan last week ada banyak assignment ke nak buat ke apa? Ada?
Ada.
I ingat conteng dekat kedai makan je.
Oh ya. Yelah, hari tu kata nak conteng. Pergi conteng cepat. Aku nak tengok apa kau conteng.
Saya tak conteng lah.
Kau lukis ke apa? Eric?
Taklah.
Hairi top student sir.
Dia je top student buat juga slide Prof, sebab dah lah.
Setakat ni aku tengok.
Gaddafi top student.
Dia lambang tu, lambang ada harga. Kan? Lambang tu je, pakai lambang tu dah dapat A. Kan? Dah datang 3-4 kali kelas, dah A++ dah. Kan? Dia gelak je kan? Kan? Dia final exam tak payah buat. Kan? Tak payah buat pun dia turun-turun dapat A.
Aduh.
Dia boleh sedekahkan lagi.
Gaddafi minta sedekah ni. Tolong lah,
Okay.
weh.
Okay, apa nak korang nak tunjuk ni? Tunjuk sikit. Apa yang kau dah conteng? Siapa nak start dulu? Chan lah. Kau tak pernah start dulu.
Okay.
Dah lah kau datang lambat.
I ingat conteng dekat kedai makan, sir. I
Tak
tak
apalah.
conteng.
Kau conteng je lah kat cermin tu.
Hah, dekat cermin ni? Boleh conteng ke?
Apa kau lukis? Kau ambil gambar.
I tak lukis dekat sini. I ingat lukis dekat straight away. The day sir say 5 minutes brainstorm.
5 minit.
Dekat kedai makan tu.
Okay.
You're talking about the what do you call this? The toast
Toast
implementation,
matrix.
the
Toast
application
matrix.
of toast metric and also the sort metrics onto our company itself. So as
Yeah,
you all
yeah.
know that I have a company in Cambodia that deals
Okay.
with telcos.
Mm.
It's TowerCo. So basically, what we do is that we build communication towers for
So tell me your strength first. Tell me your strength. What is your strength?
my strength. The company's strength, we work very closely with the Cambodian government. So I will believe that is one of our strengths. We get a lot of jobs from the regulator, which is called TRC, Telecommunication Regulator of Cambodia. It's like MCMC over here. So we get a lot of jobs from them. And then for me, myself, I do a lot of plannings with them on how to tackle the spectrum, how to tackle the, what do you call that? The triangular junctions of on the towers. So we are working very, very closely. In fact, I draft some of the legal frameworks for the government sectors, especially in telecommunication sectors. So we are kind of like, how should I put it? I wouldn't say we dictate. I would say we work very closely with the government to make sure that the telcos in jive and also adhere to the regulations that being stated. They have to follow. It's mandatory for them to follow. Say, for example, there are certain places that we need to build. Let's say I propose in this area of coverage, we need to build 5 monopole, 500-meter posts, and another 20 around surrounding it, 10 to 30-meter posts. So all these telcos, there are 6 main telcos, 4 quite big. Axiata is one of them. Under Smart is under Axiata. People like Cellcard, Smart, they have to place their equipments. If they don't place the equipment, I even have come up with one-point solutions. I call it tower sharing. So basically, you do not need to come up with any financial. We will finance it, we will build it, we will even purchase the required equipments, say antennas, so on and so forth, generators. All you need to do is just plug and play and make sure that the users around that area, your active users, are being reachable. So this is one of the approach that I have come up with, and the Cambodian government like it a lot. Because a lot of times all these telcos would say that there's not enough ARPU. Maybe in this area itself there's only 1,000 people around. So they will say, oh, there's not enough ARPU for us. It's not justifiable for them to build a tower. So I say, no problem. We will build it for you. We will finance it as well. All you need to do is just pay us a monthly rental fee. So government like it. I see at that point, and government like it. So we sort of like have cornered to the telcos to an edge whereby they do not have a choice. You say there's no ARPU and it's not justifiable for you to put a couple of $1 million to build a tower. No problem, I'll do it for you. And another strength of us is that my partner is Rohas Perkasa. So they are, as you know, they are involved in a lot in the utilities, powers, water, splash, Selangor, right? So they even have a factory that builds a tower that supply to local Malaysia Tower Co. and also telcos in Malaysia. So the reason why I partner up with them is because when it comes to supply, will be for sure that the price will be good for us because they are manufacturers. They don't only supplying to Malaysia, throughout Asia, in India's, in the Middle East, Philippines as well.
Okay.
So I have seen their strength, and it's a good collaboration. They are very, at the point of time, Tan Sri Wan Asmin was very interested in venturing to Cambodia as well. So we had a chat, and yeah, so that's how we acquired there's only 3 license holder, Tower license holder in Cambodia. So we are one of them. So that's the reason why he was very interested. And also he sees that our strength in our relationship with the government over there. So yeah, so though by looking at the status of Rojas, so that would be considered one of our strengths to minimize our costs, because to build a tower, it will cost a couple of $1 million per tower, excluding the OPEX. So from there itself, I've cut out a lot of the costs.
Okay.
In order to operate a towerco, I do not need a very big team.
Okay.
Yes, I do not need a very big team to operate a towerco, because they are contractors. They are, and my supplier is my partners. So I've cut down a lot of my operation costs,
Okay.
my capital injections.
Okay.
Yes, that would be the two strengths of my company.
Okay. So you talk about a lot about the technical expertise that you have, and also the, what do you call it, your relationships lah, huh? Your business work lah.
Mm.
So those are your strength. And then I think when you talk about opportunities, you talk about the new business opportunities there. Yeah.
Yep.
Where they actually need capable parties to assist them, right? So when I look at this, then I would say your strengths can actually take advantage of the opportunities lah.
Yes.
Leverage on the opportunities
Yes.
you mentioned just now lah, based on your stories.
Yes.
So as a result of that, then obviously your SO will somehow looks like you will have a lot of partnerships, will have a lot of new businesses.
Yes.
Means opportunity for new businesses to come up is very good lah.
Yes.
Those are the things that you actually put in the SO punya quadrant. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So that is pretty much people and people. Even though now people, we are talking about your company and also the government over there, or your company with other business partners. They are still
Yes.
people.
Yep.
When we talk about people, we talk about organization. Those are the things that comes on the people.
Yep.
The thing is that we can also talk about processes, people and processes. The processes here is that I'm sure in the Cambodia, they have some of the regulations and things like that. Those are processes.
Yep.
But when you say that you have been around for quite some time, you are familiar with the processes. Yeah.
Yep.
So in that perspective, you know how to do business better compared to some other potential competitors lah.
Yes.
So that gives you a better you have better leverage lah as compared to other people. So that can also be SO.
Yeah.
So like for example, if you were to say what is the difference between Malaysian companies and overseas companies when they come to the country, assuming that they are of the size? Because if they are not of a similar size, then obviously they are not in the same market share, isn't it?
Yes.
When you talk about Giant, kata Giant is Malaysian company lah, Giant is Malaysian company, and then Carrefour is coming in, or Tesco is coming in, and things like that. Okay, perhaps they are of similar sizes, similar size, for example. Therefore, Giant must be concerned if Tesco were to come in or Carrefour were to come in. Yeah. And in this perspective, Tesco will probably, Giant will probably try to have a good relationship with KDN. Yep. And ask KDN to give some incentive, for example, for local mega big supermarket lah. Because because you say that you open up the market, but you don't protect the local participant, then it will be very difficult for us to survive. For example, then in this perspective, then obviously a giant using its strong connections and presence and the ability to understand the processes involved, then they can speed up to have more of their branches across Malaysia as compared to their overseas competitors lah that just
Yes.
arrive or come into Malaysia. Every
Yes.
time when these people come in, when they want to go to Kelantan, they want to go to Terengganu or whatever, they may have different requirements over there. Yeah,
Yes.
for foreigners and things like that, for foreign companies and so on. Yeah.
That is also the whole idea when I proposed the tower infrastructure, sorry, not tower share, infrastructure sharing to the
Ah.
government in Cambodia. So basically, it's more of like we are the only one in Cambodia. I would say not even in Malaysia that offer this kind of services whereby we provide A to Z. So there is no one in there. So I am not to say kick out, but I have protected myself in terms of like in the market, because in the market, first of all, my partner is Rojas. They can have loans. They're easily for them to get any loans. That is one of the advantage that I see when I partner up with them, and that is where I was brave enough to propose this infrastructure sharing to the government in Cambodia. And I'm actually quite far of a distance from myself, from my company compared to other towerco companies. So this was one of the strategy that both my Rojas, our board of directors, and also the government in Cambodia like it a lot.
Good, good. Okay, so that is SO. Can somebody else come up with something else like ST? Actually, strength. You use your strength to eliminate your threats.
They can the infrastructure sharing be ST as well to limit my threats? Because not even what the biggest towerco in Asia, Edorco, is doing that.
Okay.
So with
Now,
that, I
when you
have
talk about threats, for example, threat is something more like this. You don't mind there are competitors, yeah? You don't mind there are competitors.
Yep.
They are threats to you. However, because of your strong connection with the government, somehow you said just now you can give an end-to-end solution, whereas other people cannot give your end-to-end solution. So in this perspective, you can also say that using your strength, which is your good connection with the government, and then you leverage on your solutions, your multiple solution as compared to what other people can give. Then in this perspective, you can eliminate your rivals lah. You can suppress your rivals to a certain extent.
Yes.
So you will be seen more favorable, even though they can give similar prices, but then the government will have more confidence in
The
your
confidence
services.
is there, yes.
Macam itulah. Itu yang kita maksudkan ST, trying to eliminate the threats. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. What about if you want to look into WO? What are your weaknesses and how do you actually overcome your weaknesses with opportunities available in Cambodia?
Weaknesses.
Can you think of your weaknesses and then you say that, by the way, in Cambodia, because even though I have some weaknesses, but actually I can take advantage of the opportunities available over there.
Yeah.
That somehow eliminate my weaknesses lah, overcome my weaknesses.
I think the weakness in Cambodia for this business in particular, the weakness is that the population is very low.
No, you can't say that. You can't say that. Weaknesses is on your side, not on others. On your side.
Let's say my teeth is not nice, right?
Yeah. Okay. Say for example.
The day is Gaddafi, the janggut.
Macam mana ada weaknesses? Say, I can think of something like this, I can think of something like this. You did mention just now that your staff, you don't have many staff, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so that could be a weakness. Okay, you don't have many staff, which means that you can't do everything by yourself. However, the opportunities are there because there are so many business partners. Somehow you can always collaborate with other people. So that is actually your weakness overcome by your opportunities. Same as Harry, for example. Yeah. Now Harry may say that, you know what, I may not have the budget for apa tu lah marketing, because I can't afford to go on the television, billboards, and this and that, and I can't compete with some of other people who are in a similar business with me. However, what I do have is that I get all my watches signed by the Prime Minister. Yeah. Because of my good connection, political connection, and things like that, that overcomes my weaknesses. I don't really have to do marketing. That's what he said at the beginning just now.
Okay.
He eliminates his weakness by taking advantage of the opportunities available
Okay.
to overcome. That is WO lah.
Mhm.
I think that is a very good example of WO. So otherwise, you would have to spend a lot on the marketing, isn't it? Just like any other watches, like Tag Heuer ke apa ke kan, kena semua masuk dalam racing lah, like Rolex, they have to advertise in the Wimbledon and things like that, right? So for Harry, he said, oh, I can't afford to do that lah. So I actually get all my marketing done by all these people lah, yang jadi the prominent people who are actually signing the watches lah. Macam tu lah maksudnya. Okay, senang. And then finally is the WO. Okay, I have a weakness and I have so many threats. I cannot do anything about it unless I innovate. Can you think of something in your business that you have to innovate? Come up with something different from everybody else, because you acknowledge that you have the weakness, you have some weaknesses in existing criteria lah in the competition. And then there are so many threats. Therefore, you have to just come up with something different. Ada tak?
Me or
Again,
Harry?
again, kalau Harry lagi senang, because the example is there are so many watches yang ada dalam market, right? So many watches, quartz lah, apa tu semua ada dalam market. Let's say for example, and then the weakness is that, see, you don't have that much budget lah, cannot compete against all these people. Therefore, what I did is I innovate. I came up with a custom-made punya watch, but I use the famous people punya figures, and I make sure that they like celebrities ke something like that lah. So that's actually WT, innovation, innovation. Kan yang itu I think is a very simple example lah kalau kita nak tengok dalam Harry. Betul Harry kan? So you come up with something different altogether. So you
Can I?
create something simple.
The only one way that one of the things that pop into my mind when it comes to WT is that for now is that the weakness for Tavco is the weakness for Tavco businesses industry is that, to be honest, the tower really do very slow. It moved very slow, tremendously slow, especially during the MCO. Being said that the telcos will give you 1,000 reasons, the ARPU is low, it's not justifiable, whereby they themselves doesn't want to invest into building towers because it really takes them for one area itself, it will take them easily 10 to 15 million just to build a small area, to cover a small area.
Okay.
So what was I going to say? To cover up these weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
The whole reason we build up this infrastructure sharing is for them to not give any more reasons to be part of it, and we have the support from the Cambodian government to make it mandatory for them to provide the service with all the towers that has been built.
Okay.
Can sir?
Boleh. I think what you must look at is that you, first of all, that's why what is more important is that you punya SWOT analysis must be very strong. Your SWOT analysis must be very strong, must be very detailed. So when you do for your own company, I mean, like, of course, for exams, you don't have much time. Time is, you have time constraint. Therefore, the whole idea is not to write so much, not so much on your SWOT ni lah. But you do for your own company, that means for your strength itself, make sure that you have more than 10. More than 10. And then your weaknesses macam tu, opportunities macam tu, threats macam tu. So if you were to hire a consultant to do this job, obviously they have to conduct a few sessions, workshops, different stakeholders, so that these stakeholders can provide their point of views on the SWOT analysis. That's why, like for example, over 3 days of 2 workshops, you can get long list of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is very important because the whole exercise is to be as detailed as possible. Yeah. When you detail about all these things, then you will have the opportunity to do better house metrics. Because when you have many aspects of strength, opportunities, threats, and weaknesses, then you can marry these points. You can have many matching punya results. Okay? This is why I said Taos Matrix is very, very crucial. It's it's a very good tool. And at the end of the day, it gives you many options. Then again, once you have all these options, you have to justify which options would be the best in your portfolio management. Yeah, meaning to say you have to look into the risk, because SO is the minimum risk, low risk. WO dengan ST dengan WO is the medium risk, and then WT is the highest risk. So you have to play around with the portfolio management lah of your choices ni. Yeah, faham? Of course, the easiest is that you just take the SO sajalah, very minimum risk. So this one, there is no right or wrong. It depends on your appetite. Yeah, some people, they like to have certain amount of risk in their in their business, because they just want to be different from other people. Like Harry, for example, he comes up with WT. Richard Branson definitely WT. You know Richard Branson, the Virgin punya ni, is definitely WT. Siapa tu kita punya Asia pun definitely WT. So you will not see them favoring the SO punya quadrant. But then if you look at big GLCs in Malaysia, they are all SOs. Majority of the thing that they do are SO. Because one is that they don't like to take risks. Because the moment they take risks, then that would probably jeopardize their their profit. Because why would they want to take risks when there are many things that is already within their grasp? You see, they have so many strengths, isn't it? Government is on their side. They have the budget. They have the people. They have the connection, and then opportunities are there. They can just come up with any business proposal and say that this is within my purview, right? Unless they are interested to go somewhere else, other countries are necessary to take the risk. We have seen many GLCs gone overseas, and many of them have not been very successful. And then they will tell you that, I mean, as a CEO, as a president of the organization and so on, why should you be bothered with all these sort of things when your stakeholders are only interested in the dividend, right? Even your stakeholders will be, will not be too happy when the risk is high. So they will tell you just capitalize on the local market, you see. This is a very good business. You can make more profit, than we can get better dividends. Then every time when you go abroad, people will have this headache. So, oh, you want to go to this country, many risks here and there, political instability, you cannot count him here, cannot count him there. You faham tak? So then at the end of the day, they may have a very small percentage of their portfolios in overseas market lah. Can, yeah, okay. So that is what Taos Matrix is all about. So I simplified it, but it is not as simple as that. It is a very powerful tool. I mean, if I were you, what I can do is that, because you have the opportunity to do this in your own organization, maybe one of these days, maybe you want to do strategic planning for your organization, then you can adopt this idea. You can call your staff, and then you can facilitate this, and then you can teach them how to do this. Now, there are books. I mean, if you buy strategic management book, they will teach you how to do Taos Matrix. Tetapi, like I told you, they will just give you the concept. It's probably 1 or 2 pages. That's all. Yeah. So that's the downside lah. So they never teach you how to think. But now you get some ideas, a better way of doing it. Make sure that your SWOT analysis, they have the people aspect, the process aspect, and also the technology aspect. Therefore, you can marry people with people, people with technology, and people with processes. Yeah. So this is how you do all these sort of things. When you marry the points, make sure that whatever answer that you get, yeah, you put a bracket next to it stating which point marry with which. Contohnya, is it strength number 1? So if it's strength number 1, you put S1. Marry with O3. That means opportunity number 3. Kalau you ada dua strength, S1 and S4, you combine them together, and then you marry with O5, then you should write that S1, S3, O4. If you have whatever points that you marry, you must put in a bracket so that you remember which point marry which points. Or, a few points are marrying with each other. This is very important. Now, I recommend that you do this for your own company. Take some time to do this with staff. Then you will remember. Because, like I said, this is a very powerful tool. You don't want to forget how to use. And kita buat ni 45 minutes, but the value is 100,000. If you were to hire, if you are a big company and you were to hire Ernst & Young over 2 days just to do your SWOT analysis sahaja, 250,000. Ikhlas je. Hotel kamu bayar, makan kamu bayar, Ailio, points pun kamu yang bagi. I jadi tukang tulis saja dekat atas whiteboard. Cukup 2 hari 250. Bukan RM250, RM250,000. Very good business. Hari? Betul Hari? Good business. Lepas ni bukanlah ni. Adik Akau Ramasamy punya club. 3 jam, lepas tu dia cakap dekat Uni Razak. Can I do a SWOT analysis for you? I have good opportunities, Ernst & Young give you 100, 250, I give you 135 only.
Then, sir,
50%.
every week we have to see you at Tony Roma, sir.
Kan. Aden also give 50%. So this one also give you 50% lah. Price 50% lah. Okay. So this one is very important. Okay. The next thing I remember last week, we also talked about vertical and horizontal integration. Remember, before we finish the class, vertical and horizontal integration. Now, in the final exam, like I mentioned to you, all these points you can write. In fact, when I say 250, 2,500 to 3,000 actually varies. Once you start writing, you believe you can write more, because there's so many points that you can. Because you can tackle these questions from many different angles, right? You can compare this and say, you don't have to do a SWOT analysis. You can just say that, actually, you know what? When 2 or 3 banks merger, first thing we need to do, you need to do a SWOT analysis for each of the organization. Then we can see what we can do, how we marry the points and this and that. Then we can do a touch matrix for this organization. Are you goreng dah 1 point habis. Kedua, you boleh talk about, when we marry people, we make people, they are of a different culture. Definitely, there will be difficulties in handling this case. So how do we iron up cultural issues, for example? There are definitely going to be duplication of duty once we combine the financial institutions. How do we respond to these issues? For example, do we do a right sizing? Need to do a right sizing? Then you talk about what is right sizing. So how do you do a right sizing, for example? Then in order for you to do a right sizing, you must do what we call, you pernah dengar tak ini kata aliran? Workflow diagrams. Workflow diagrams, which means that how do you start a process? Start the process, pass to this person. How many people need to do this? So at the end of the day, when you do this flow, water flow diagram, you see who the party who are responsible. If you see that you only need 1 person, when you combine the bank, there are 4 people to do the job. Obviously, 3 people will have to take VSS. This is how you justify the number of people that you need in a right sizing organization. Pun you boleh goreng lagi, isn't it? Now, you can always also say that when the bank merge with another bank, are they of a similar size? If it is a similar size, then okay, we can understand it's a merger. If it is not a similar size, it's acquisition. That means the guy who kita makan mesti kena balon lah, isn't it? Unless they have specific or specialties where we don't have. So they actually can become subsidiaries. Like for example, I'm a retail bank. Suddenly I marry with Exim Bank, for example. You know what is Exim Bank? You have any idea what is Exim Bank? Exim, EXIM, Export Import Bank. So Export-import bank ni it's important for you do trade financing between countries. Kalau you buat dalam Malaysia, you tak payah pakai import-export. You boleh pakai CIMB tu semua, tak ada masalah. Tapi kalau you kata you nak trade dengan Cambodia, you want to trade with Venezuela, they do not know CIMB. They have no idea. You also do not know their XYZ company, bank over there. You also cannot trust them. They tell you, okay, we'll buy something, pass over the watch from Malaysia to Venezuela. After they reach the Venezuela, you don't get your pay. Faham tak, Harry? Yeah? So obviously you want to deal with a reputable bank. So this is what we talked last time when I said to Harry last time. Masa katakan bila kalau, okay lah Harry dia deal dengan 100 voucher, something like that kan. But if you deal with a big container, something like that, then obviously you talk about bill of lading. Macam, you know, that the ships comes over to Port Klang, and then you want to make sure that, you know, whatever you import to semua ada, then only you can ask the Exim Bank to release the payment. Dia ada arrangement. So this is how we mitigate the risk lah, kan? Kata kalau dekat Exim, dekat Venezuela, dia pun ada Exim Bank dia. So the question, why don't you use the Exim Bank? Why do you use XYZ company? Then if they want to deal, katakanlah, next time Harry wants to buy some watches from Venezuela lah, for example, because they have certain technology or design, whatever it is lah. Then they kata, oh, my bank is XYZ. So Harry pun kata, X sikit XYZ, it looks like C grade punya bank lah. Mak, itu C grade dekat negara dia. International mungkin sudah fail. So I cannot trust this bank, right? Because they will ask me to pay first. Then when I pay, then somehow there is a miscommunication. The bank will say, no, I didn't get your money. Tak boleh lah macam tu kan. So they use the Exim. Yeah. So this is some of the things that you can answer lah dalam you punya kerja lah. You punya kerja. Sebenarnya memang banyak. If I were you, I look into people process and then, or I look into is it business on horizontal ke vertical. Kalau horizontal, isu dia macam ni. Kalau vertical, that means you're buying your supplier or you're buying your supplier or distributor. So kalau buying supplier or distributors, usually they have different sets of sets and they look into different purview. Then mungkin you tak ada all this issue of apa tu lah, elimination of staff dan sebagainya. Tak ada lah. Kan katakanlah macam now today football teams they buy a lot of things. You see, they buy properties, right? They buy properties. In the UK, there are many football teams that have properties. You know, land. And then that's why you see they're moving from one training ground to another because it's actually their own land. Itu memang culture diorang. I can't remember one of the football teams have many lands. And then in Malaysia, the universities in Malaysia, you see all big universities, macam Universiti Melaya ke apa. They also have a land bank. Dia ada land bank dia. Tapi kalau dekat UK, University of Leeds tu, rumah-rumah kat tepi tu semua dia punya tanah. They are into all these businesses. That's how they sustain dia punya education punya business. Macam Tan Sri Jeffrey Chia kan Sunway for example. You know, he is also into properties. That's why the university is good as such that they don't pressure the lecturer to look for, because the whole idea is that you should provide good education. Don't worry about the money because the money comes from somewhere else. And not only from the students' fees and so on, but it comes from, you know, contribution from other business, property, dia punya shopping complex, hospital, and this and that. So they come up with some Jeffrey Chia punya foundations lah, this and that. So it looks very attractive. Everybody looks at it, wah bagus lah dia, philanthropy lah, itu lah ini. But actually, he just play around with the money that he gets from other businesses. He can do that. At the same time, he can avoid from paying certain tax. Dia bukan tax evasion, avoidance. Dia ambil tu, dia bagi masuk dalam charity dia sana. And tax avoidance from paying tax. Dia ada dua. Tax evasion lain. Tax evasion dia lari tax. Dia bukan lari tax. Dia manage his tax. Untuk dapat dia punya avoidance. Tidak perlu bayar tax. Faham? Harry, boleh Harry? So now have I increased your confidence from 300 to 1,000?
Banyak.
Look like 3 hours is just too long lah. 3 hours looks too long lah, too much lah. Maybe should bring it down to 2 hours lah. Nanti kan kalau bagi 3 jam kan 9,000 orang dia tulis pula kan. Kan penat pula aku nak baca kan.
Prof.
Ha.
Since three of us, Prof,
Ha.
apa ni, kita akan involve with Viva. Tapi kita tak dapat lagi tarikh 13
Oh, Viva.
sampai 20. Ha.
Viva apa? Susah gelak-gelak je.
Oh, if kalau Prof lah yang jadi examiner, saya boleh buat macam itu. Takut orang
Ha.
lain pada Prof pula.
Cakap lah kat dia. Tukarlah kasih si botak tu jadi examiner aku.
So, Prof, I was get a message that the final assessment is going to be on 17 or 18.
Oh, dia, if I'm not mistaken, your final exam ni dia bagi ada satu period kan?
17 ke 18. 2 hari. I'm not sure. Saya tak ada, kita tak ada,
bukan.
saya tak ada.
Yang kita punya ni test ni dia bagi macam seminggu 2 kan? Betul kan? If not
Tak tahu,
mistaken
Prof.
lah. If not mistaken dia bukan hari ni buat exam, hari ni hantar, bukan. Dia ada satu period. Di kau 3 jam macam kau duduk satu hari dia ada 24 jam, hari 48
Boleh,
jam.
boleh. Cuma
Ah.
nak tahu kalau takut kena tarikh kita Viva tu kan.
Tak-
So
tak
saya
bagi.
takut Prof
Tak
ada
bagi.
specific time.
Ada soalan dah bagi. Tadi dah bagi
Kalau-
soalan dia. Kan?
Kalau Prof sudi untuk berkongsi case study tu lagi bagus. Kita dah boleh buat sekarang.
Masalahnya case study tu, aku dah cakap tadi, baca tak baca, tak relevan.
Okey.
Betul tak?
Okey lah.
Okay.
Sebab Prof, okey lah. Setuju lah.
Itu cukup syarat je. Kan aku kata.
All
Dia dah cakap
answer is accepted lah, Prof.
Tak sekarang ni kau nak tengok case study tu buat apa? Case study tu sebenarnya dia nak bagi gambaran je. Sekarang ni aku dah ringkaskan dia, payah baca aku kata.
Ya.
In fact, kau tutup je benda tu, kau terus jawab je dah. Okey, kalau financial institution dia nak kahwin, apa isu dia? Apa yang dia patut tengok gini. Habis. Itu je. Kan? Nanti tapi kau janganlah buat kesilapan ruki. Universiti keluarkan soalan 1 minit lepas tu terus ambil jawapan. Nanti orang jawab 3,000 patah petak dalam masa 1 minit kan. Betul tak Gaddafi? Kanlah soalan keluar pada berapa hari bulan ini 3, 4, 5. Pukul 5, 12 malam 21 minit habis tu aja entah. Jut kan universiti kan. Tak ada benar mamat ni kan.
Kalau Prof okey cara macam tu, kita kena okey je lah. Kita follow je cara Prof.
Okey apa dah okey. Gelak 3,000. Kan? 2 kali 6,000. Dan kawan kita pula duduk atas katil kan. 9,000 gitu je. Kan? Bukan boleh berlari kan. Kalau boleh berlari lain. Kan? Ya, Ican ni kan. Sebentar tu tunggu airport kan. Nak pergi Cambodia. Kita dah 3,000. Betul. Kejap dia. 50 tahun 9,000 buat 3 jam. Gitu dah 9,000. Kan? Betul. Tak susah lah. Kau buat gitu je. Tapi dia gini. Dia cara nak buat essay ni very simple. Itu dah jawab belum? Dah jawab belum cara nak buat essay macam mana? Ada? Kita tadi how to do the essay?
Prof ni teknik rasanya belum lagi. Kalau Prof ni belum
Dia
lagi.
senang je. Untuk engkau buat essay, kau tulis benda ni. Dia ada 6 benda yang kau kena tulis. Nombor 1 mesti ada introduction. Kalau tak ada introduction, kita tak tahu apa kau nak tulis. Jadi introduction ni apa? Apa yang biasa kau tulis dalam introduction? Cuba sikit kita Rafi. Apa kau ada dalam?
Lalu di introduction saya akan letak definition of that topic. Mungkin kita boleh elaborate sikit kita boleh bagi general overview untuk topik yang kita nak bincangkan tu, dan mungkin kita boleh masukkanlah teori yang sesuai untuk kita
teori yang sesuai lah, yang relevan teori lah. Tan, pukul tak Jan? Who you put in your introduction?
Brief explanations of the questions being asked and the past. If I can remember, then I will usually write a bit of a past history on the industry or the area that have been the research. And also moving forward, I will also put in what is we are trying to accomplish in this write-up, and what we have achieved and what can be done in the future. Usually that is my idea of writing introduction. Yes.
Apa kau tulis Eri?
Saya introduction, basically saya akan huraikan lah tajuk apa yang kita nak buat tu, kita akan huraikan tajuk tu lah. Dan apa relevansnya this paper, apa importance-nya benda ni dalam introduction tu lah, Prof. Story about literature ke.
Alright. Nampak gaya tak berapa bijak jawapan-jawapan yang telah diberi lah.
Okay.
Jadi kalau tak berapa bijak, angkat pensel. Keluarkan pensel dan keluarkan kertas. Saya tanya soalan nak tengok korang auta macam mana. Kan? Okay. Nombor 1. Tadi Chan ada kata, look at the question. Harry pun ada cakap, look at it. Gaddafi pun ada cakap, ni aku ajar kau. Dia dalam introduction ni dia ada 6 atau 7 perkataan je. Lain dengan auta. 6 atau 7 je. Lepas ni kalau kau punya staff hantar katakan kau, introduction ada 6 atau 7. Lain daripada tu masuk tempat lain. Okay? In the introduction, the first sentence, you must be clear about what you wanted to do here. What is this essay is all about? What is this report is about? People need to know in the first sentence, what is this all about? This report is about addressing challenges of financial merger merger between financial institutions in Malaysia. Tahu lah bukan nak buat. Faham dah? That's the first. Okay. The next thing, dalam introduction ni kita nak cerita kat orang apa kita nak buat, what we wanted to do. Without really explaining the big thing that we wanted to do. We just need to have some idea to tell our reader what we wanted to do. So we want to guide them so that when they read the paper, they know what they can expect from you. So the next sentence is what many of you people said just now. Ada dia punya background lah, ada teori lah, ada tu. So that comes under background. Okay, so sorry, first sentence ialah what you want to do. Okay, and then the next sentence is that then the next sentence, the next section of this report will address some of the backgrounds relating to this study. Relating to whatever lah, tadi yang study you lah, katakan you nak buat merger ke dan sebagainya. Dalam tu, nanti dalam section background tu, you boleh cerita pasal history, you boleh cerita pasal teori relevan dan sebagainya. Nanti kita go through that. Tapi that is the next. Okay. So ada 2 sentence. The third sentence is that after that this will be followed by some findings relating to these case studies. Okay. Findings. The third thing is about findings. Findings ni ialah no-brainer. Dia kerja rajin je. Dia kerja auditor. What is there now? Ini you punya SWOT analysis. SWOT analysis ni is no-brainer. Faham tak? Audit is SWOT analysis. Macam you kata you ada strength lah apa tu. Kalau you buat case study, SWOT analysis memang masuk dalam findings. Dia bukan analysis, dia findings. Okay? And then, that's the third sentence. This will be followed by some analysis. That means the fourth sentence is about analysis. So dalam analysis macam House Matrix is an analysis. Okay? PES tally bukan analisis. PES tally adalah findings. Keadaan semasa. Faham? You punya PES tally pun atau portfolio forces pun ialah you punya findings. Analysis bila you combine them together dia jadi House Matrix. Sebab bila you nak buat SWOT analysis, remember I told you opportunities and threats comes from your macro and micro external environment analysis. Macro adalah PES tally, micro adalah portfolio forces. So they have to be in the findings. They cannot be in analysis. Analysis memang House Matrix. Right? So the fourth sentence in the introduction is that there will be a section for the on the analysis of this case study. Okay? Fifth sentence, after you have done the analysis, you will provide some recommendation. If you do not do the analysis, you cannot come up with a recommendation. So don't plug anything from the sky. That's why I told you, when you do a report, you tak payah baca, you boleh goreng atas, make sure dia punya analysis. You create the scenario, then you analyze the scenario. You create scenario, you analyze the scenario. Ya, baca buku, tak baca buku. Betul lah. If you say it like this, then you do lah the analysis dia begitu. And then you provide the recommendation based on your analysis. So you don't come up with a recommendation from the books. Because everything must come from your analysis. So you cannot pluck a recommendation from the sky and give this recommendation. Tak boleh. Itu yang banyak orang buat salah. What they do is that they read the book, okay, these are the recommendations. So you put on the recommendation. Actually, you did not do the analysis. Macam mana you boleh bagi recommendation? Dia punya thought process tak betul. And the last sentence, in the introduction, finally, some conclusions will be drawn. So ada 6 ayat saja. Faham? Apa kau goreng is within those 6 main ideas lah. Okay, that is the first section. The second section is your background. Okay, in the background, you can state whatever thing that you mentioned just now about dia punya theories related lah, whatever it is. But do not spend too much time because you need to focus. Meaning to say that if you do not focus, then you are going to give a lot of things surrounding the background. And the background can be so many things, and anything is also right. But the thing is that you must derive to a problem statement. You know what is a problem statement? Chan ni tahu, Eri tahu. Problem statement ni, Gaddafi tahu.
Tahu bro.
Problem statement is the thing that you want to tackle. It is in the form of a problem. Maknanya you identify the problem. That's why you want to tackle the problem. Jadi the background must be centered around the problem statement. Jadi dia tak adalah kata Amerba macam-macam. For example, anybody support the local football teams? Ada siapa-siapa support? Ada Harry. Chan ada support local team ada.
Harimau Malaysia.
Bukanlah itu country.
Dulu Selangor lah, when my friend was playing.
Oh, your friend play for Selangor. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I think if you want to do a good case study, you can do a good case study about Selangor. Because Selangor used to be big champions in the past. Yeah, when they have all the semi-pros last time. Semi-pros started with 2 foreign players. Then after that, then they came up with 3 foreign players. Then after that, they changed the rule. 3 on the field. You can have more than 3, but only 3 playing. The others have to be substitute. So you want to change, you can. 3 on the field at one time. Now Sukati. So you can do a case study. So if you want to say the downfall of Selangor, for example, Selangor has not won the league for a long time, right? So you want to say the downfall of Selangor. So you don't talk about their glory so much. You talk about when they start falling down. What are the incidents happening surrounding it? Maybe you can talk about their management. Maybe they can talk about, unfortunately, they believe in certain philosophy whereby X number of players must be Malaysian, for example. So 80% must be Malaysian, only 20% that. Even that, the 20%, they limit it at least, at most 3 people because they believe in giving opportunities to Malaysian players and so on. They are strong promoters of Malaysian players, They are rich state, they have a lot of money, but ini apa ni? Rasuah. Arsenal memang semua rasuah. So all these sort of things you must center around the problem statement. Understand? You don't talk about Muqtadari. Ini semua kalau tu cerita tak habis lah. Kita nak fokus kepada problem statement. The last sentence in the background must be the problem statement. If I were you, what I do is that I bold the problem statement. If you want to make it clear, then you write the word. The problem statement in this case study is about blah, blah, blah. You boldkan the whole thing. So that you want to avoid from your reader tidak faham apa you nak cerita. So we now want to focus on this problem statement. Why you need to have a problem statement is because you want to angle all the discussion. Itu saja. Then you can limit the discussion. So you pilih the scope, you limit the scope. If you tell me that it's merger punya ni is all centered around Malaysian bank, cerita Malaysian bank saja, tak payah cerita satu dunia punya bank, kan? You understand? Or merger is only surrounding what they call GLC banks. Jadi public bank bukan GLC, kan? GLC HB, CIMB, certain banks, whatever lah. Ataupun you want to say, I'm only interested in Islamic banks, or I'm only interested in foreign banks in Malaysia, or foreign American banks, or foreign Middle East bank. Jadi the limit lah. Tak salah cakap. Kalau you nak negara lain pun boleh. Kalau you expertise in some other country, no problem. Or I say, actually, I'm not interested in banks lah. I'm interested in some kind of financial institution yang lain. Or you want to play around, say, merchant banks. Only merchant bank. Pun boleh. Tak ada masalah. You pick whatever problem statement you want to be, as long as your thought process is correct. Okay? So the last sentence in the background has got to be the problem. Then after that, this is a second section. The third section is findings. So in the findings, you can draw your answers from whatever readings that you've done and put it there. my suggestion, because you want to show your level of intelligence, then perhaps you can do your SWOT analysis. You nak kena tunjuk terror lah kan. Kalau tidak nanti dia nampak macam bullshitting je everywhere, right? Dah nak tunjuk kepakaran CEO ni, CEO sana, CEO sini, presiden sana, presiden. I know what I'm doing lah. Macam tu lah. Kau buatlah sedikit SWOT analysis. Now this SWOT analysis, you don't expect that I told you just now to come up with 10 sana, 10 sini. Sebab kita nak buat 3 jam saja. Kita bukan nak detail pun, aku bukan check betul-betul ni betul ke detail merah lah. You want to see, you know what you're doing or not. So you can even bluff on the SWOT analysis, because that's accuracy. It's not what we wanted to see. We wanted to see, you understand that people dapat tulis lah, people 1-2 isu, lepas tu proses 1-2 isu, ni tulis je, merah je. So I know that you know what you're doing. So given 3 days, your answer will be different, but centered around the same thought process. Itu yang faham. Bukan kita nak dia check ni ada 20 SWOT, ada 20 strength, ada 30 weakness. Pada ini memang lama punya kerja lah. Kapal terbang sudah jalan. Kan? And kena beli kapal terbang lain. Okay. So after you have done the findings, then you do your analysis. Dia seperti saya bagi tahu, findings ni kerja rajin saja. So if you are given 1 month to do the job, you boleh tunjuk rajin. But you want to show how intelligent you are, is in the analysis. This is where you demonstrate lah how clever you are, how you want to maneuver the data. Ini adalah analysis. Okay, analysis is the 4th section in your report. The 5th section is recommendation. Recommendation can only tie to the analysis that you have. Faham? So kalau you tak buat analysis tu, tak boleh ada recommendation. I can check, ni ada ke tidak, ni ada ke tidak. If you had come up with 3 analysis, but you come up with 6 recommendation, okay, boleh. Sebab analysis tu dia boleh kahwin-kahwin juga. Remember I told you in the Tausch matrix, you can marry, they can have so many matching concept, right? Isn't it? Then you can ulas kat situ dalam you punya recommendations. So how do you say, oh, I got 10 different, but then in my portfolio, I can only do 4. I do recommendations lah. So considering that I'm a least appetite for to risk, these are the options that I will pick, more or less. Okay, faham? Then finally, you come up with the conclusion. The conclusion part is very important. Now, if this were written, if this exercise is to sit in exam, many people sebab dah tak ada masa, dia tak buat itu conclusion. Ini kesalahan berat. Kesalahan berat because you see, conclusion itself have certain marks. So that means if you don't do conclusion, you forgo all the marks, even though the rest tu you buat. Setiap satu tu dia ada markah dia. You tak boleh lebih daripada markah tu just because you spend so much time. Conclusion, there are certain things that you need to talk. Many people don't quite understand what to write in it. What they usually write is that they want to be like Bollywood movies kan. And in the end, everybody live happily ever after. And in the Bollywood movie, they try to be funny once. If you remember lah, kalau ada pernah terbaca kan. They tried to be funny. In the end, they got laughed by the audience because the audience burned the cinema, right? Because they cannot accept hero mati lah. Hero mati ataupun sad ending is never acceptable in Bollywood movie. The ending, orang baik mesti menang. Kan? So there was one movie, orang baik tak menang. Itu cinema kan? So, conclusion, it's not about, in the end, they live in the castle and everybody live happily. No. In the conclusion, you need to remind back what this report is all about. This report is centered around this idea to address these problems. Therefore, these were the critical findings. You are the finding and you cari the critical. 1, 2, 3. Based on these critical findings, a few analysis was done, and based on that, it was critically ini, and based on that, the following were the recommendation. Kelas. Itulah dia punya conclusion. So orang macam aku nanti, dia baca atas, habis ke tengah, tak boleh baca. Habis cerita. Dan cikgu pun kena buat kerja bijak kan. Janji nak buat ni, kau buat ke tidak? Betul Eri kan? Tadi kata ada 6 benda kau nak buat. Aku check dekat komputer kau buat tidak. Kat tengah tu broken English ke, broken Chinese ke, broken apa ke. Tak pergi lah kan. Jadi dia ikut header dia gitu kan. Sebab aku dah tahu kau dah temberang. Sebab Indonesia dah confirm temberang kan. Betul kan? Temberang. Jadi bila temberang tu sebab kau nak tailorkan kau punya perspektif, mesti temberang juga. Tapi kita tahulah, hari dah sengih kan. Ini macam 3 jam 10,000 lah bro. Kan? I might as well subcontract tu dia ada tu kan. Nak 3,000, kau ambil 3,000. 3,000 aku charge si Gaddafi dia. 3,000 lagi aku charge outsourcing kan. Outsourcing. Takkan minum seorang bang. Okay.
Kita yang kena duduk kedai Prof, baru boleh minum sama-sama Prof.
Okay. By the way, kita ada lagi berapa kelas ni? 1, 2. Hutang 1 kan. Hutang 1. Ada lagi berapa kelas ni? 2 kan?
2 lagi ke? Tak sure lah Prof. Tak sure.
I think 2 Prof. Campur hutang.
Campur hutang 2. It should be campur hutang 2 I think.
Sebab hari
Minggu depan last.
hari pertama saya cacat. Sekarang ni saya dah hari minggu keempat. Ada 2 lebih kurang Prof.
2 lah, tak apalah kan. Okay. So ada faham tak ada faham? Okay, make sure that you write somewhere around that lah. That's why at the end of the day sebenarnya dah dapat 3,000 tu memang senang gila sebenarnya. You actually craft your answer from the very beginning. Sebenarnya kita nak test ni, you gerti berfikir ke tidak? Kita bukan nak tengok sangat accuracy in answer. The accuracy in the answer cannot be achieved within 3 hours. So, saya tak mau buang masa. Of course, the university will give you 1 or 2 weeks to do the final exam. Memang itu dia punya cara. Tapi buat apa kau nak tulis by 2 minggu kan? Kalau 2 minggu, baik beli je terus sertifikat ni. Betul tak? Macam ni. I mean, if the whole idea is just to get certificate, you might as well just buy it je. Kan? Rasuah lah. Macam Harry cakap tadi. Rasuah. Kan?
Sir, next week last class, sir.
Kan? Nanti kita
Hutang tak
fikirlah.
kira lah, sir.
Tak kelas.
Tak kira. Okay.
Hutang gini.
Beres.
Datang, hutang tak payah kira. Aku tak payah datang. Korang buat sendiri dalam group discussion.
Kita banyak discuss, sir.
Okay.
Group chat tu.
Group chat nanti aku tanya. Boleh group chat boleh masuk ke tak? Actually, the whole idea I already give you the answer already. Senang je. Bukan susah pun. Okay. I was told that you also need to do some kind of assessment kan. So, yang apa kau buat tu kau hantar je. Kau hantar je aku terus bagi makan. Markah standard semua spesial.
Yang slide tu.
Hantar je. Siapa slide lebih dapat setengah markah lebih. Siapa dikira gini. Kalau kau hantar 8 kau dapat lebih sikit. Kau hantar 7 kurang 1. Kurang setengah. Kurang 0.5. Siapa
Hantar
kita
kat
kosong
Europe
pun
tak?
kira.
Hantar kat Europe ke Prof? Ke macam mana? Prof bagi email ke apa ke?
Dalam Europe ada ke tak ada? Ada. Tak ada tak apa hantar je mana-mana. Makan dah bagi dah kan. Ini nak
email lah. Bagi email.
Email pun boleh. Apa-apa boleh. Jadi sampai.
Okay. Alright.
Tak kosong pun terima juga. Tapi kalau ketai kosong dekat belakang see attachment tu tak nak check. Kan. Dulu kalau ada student saya kan, saya tangkap ambil handphone sitting kan. Lepas tu saya datang jumpa dia. Kontak ketai kosong, kau bagi kau punya telefon belakang. Kita boleh terima, tak ada masalah. Kalau yang Samsung Nokia tu rat COD lah kan. Tapi kalau iPhone yang latest tu confirm A+. Kan? So what you do is you send the blank paper depan, down your name, metric number, lepas kat bawah, for question 1, 2 and 3, refer to my mobile number. Refer to my mobile punya Explorer. Habis. Kan? Betul tak? What do you think? Jadi, win-win situation.
Yang ni saya kena buat SWOT analysis dulu. Prof.
See attachment ni kan. Kata yang setengah tu, question 1, see appendix 1, 100. Question 2, appendix 2, 100 lagi kan. Lepas tu appendix 3, question nombor 3, 50 markah. See appendix 3, 500. Cerita kan. Depan cover page kan. Tu universiti pun tanya. Macam mana boleh dapat 87 antara coach? Okay. Ada soalan mau tanya?
Sir.
Yeah.
The last class, can we do it before the 10 or before the 9? Tahun baru Cina, sir.
Oh ya.
10 hari bulan.
Okay. Nanti kita fikir macam ni. You remind me lah.
Or we discuss in WhatsApp group, can?
Can.
Preferably if
Sekejap,
before
9 hari bulan tu hari apa?
9 Jumaat Prof.
Jumaat.
9 Jumaat.
Kalau boleh Khamis ke Rabu, Selasa malam kita boleh. Hari boleh.
Okay, the funny thing about the university is that dia keep track tau. Dia macam dia kena buka tau benda ni tau. You understand or not? Say for example, the other day, remember that morning yang kita ada buat class tu, they forgot that I already told them.
Yep.
So we assume that we can get in. Actually, we cannot get in because dia tak
Yep.
buka.
Yeah.
So kita kena fix betul-betul supaya dia kena bukakan. Macam kelas ni, in one way, all the staff is actually working lah. It means bila ada kelas, it's not like okay malam dia tak baik, dia tak ada. Actually they they have to be there lah.
They're still working, sir.
I also realize something after I say goodbye, then you all belah, I tak keluar lagi, tiba-tiba I pun kena lock out. So they actually take note, say around 12 o'clock, then the class finish, then they need to close it. I mean, in one sense, it's good lah. I mean, for them to make sure that the class is conducted and things like that lah. In that perspective, bagus.
Tapi kalau nak tukar date rasanya kita boleh bincang juga. I mean dia nak untuk accommodate Chan kan? Boleh je.
Boleh. No problem lah. Boleh, no problem.
Encik Azaim ke?
Yeah. Okay, nanti kita because tomorrow I ada kelas lagi, then we can discuss on Monday lah. Monday onwards.
Boleh.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Ataupun senang macam ni je. Kita buka satu session. Korang buatlah test tu terus habis kita. Buka gambar gitu terus habis. Habis session tu hantar je. Kan? Ataupun apa nanti kita fikirlah macam mana mekanik dia. Alright. So, okay. It's 10:20. I mean, I'm doing the talking as usual. Kan? You should take the lead. In the end, I kena lagi. Kan? Betul hari kan? Kena tipu 1 minggu. Kita tipu dah. Dia yang buat presentation, aku yang present dia punya presentation. Mana?
Dia mahal presentation Prof bagi tu, mahal dia punya tu. Yang kita okay tu.
But the thing just now I mentioned to you, this is something that you should ask your staff to do. When they want to do a report writing, this is the process, this is the format that they should be doing. Because you must say that you are writing to the CEO. You can't be writing something that does not make sense. Something that I can read from the newspaper. So where is the intelligence? You ask me to pay a lot of money to you. I want to see some kind of analysis. Macam Harry kan. You could ask your staff to do, you do a market analysis. Then they will tell you, market ini semua ada dalam paper, aku boleh baca. Okay, never mind, that one is in the findings. But analysis, what should we be doing? I need to see how you all think kan. Something like that lah. Tak apalah, tapi sebelum tu Harry boleh pergi kelas, boleh conduct class, and then teach them how to do task matrix. Then after that, you go around and do for me that the task matrix of this organization. What can we do? Apart from say all this existing a business that we are doing, existing maknanya macam Prime Minister ke apa ke, is there any other things that we can also do? Kan, are we expecting the Prime Minister to change very often? We're expecting it to be stable. Kalau stable, mungkin susah lah nak jual Prime Minister punya saja kan. For example kan. So maybe you got to think of a lot of other things. Benda-benda lain yang can also bring good businesses. But you say, you guys got to think lah, I pay you a lot of money. What other things should we be looking at? For example, I give you a very good example. This swatch, dia pandai tau. Sekarang ni swatches kan, jam swatch kan. Harry, yang the plastic ones, we know that you can sell around 300, 400. So now what they do is that if you want to sell the 800, it got to be the metal one. Plastic tak ada orang nak. Kalau plastic dia kena automatic, then only you justify 800. Then you cannot sell more than that. Then that people will realize 800, I might as well buy Seiko pun automatic 800 juga. 200 boleh dapat kan. And then it's a Japanese punya lagi, mungkin lebih baik. Kan certain things lah. But now Swatch is very clever. What they do is that they want to sell over 100 or over 1,000. They buat collaboration. Macam for example, they did one with Omega. Kan? The moon watch. Did you see it? Harry, ada nampak Harry? Yang Swatch Omega tu.
Because Swatch own Omega, bro. That's a different game. So dia boleh suruh Omega buat apa je.
Tapi dia tendirang orang. Dia nak buat moon watch satu, tapi dia buat semua 9 planet. Buat kan? Dia buat Venus lah, Saturn lah, benda yang sebenarnya dia tak ada history pun sebenarnya. And then orang bukan kisah sangat. Dia janji dia ada satu collection. Jadi orang apa? It is using the same technology as the one yang RM300. Tapi sebab dia buat gimmick macam tu, dia jual RM1,300. Kan, RM1,300. Kan, betul kan? And then actually it's not even following the spec of the moon watch. The moon watch is not actually round. It is slightly oval. And then it is apa tu mechanical apa tu winding punya watch, dia bukan bateri. Memang semua lari dah. Itu just gimmick saja. Tapi sebab RM1,300 and then people say okay, I want to buy a collection. They buy. Kan? So okay lah. They capitalize on this sort of thing. Lepas sekarang ni dia buat satu lagi yang lain pula yang dia charge RM1,500 ke RM1,000. So this is how they capitalize on the apa tu lah, house matrix. That means they ask the staff, staff think about it. Macam Harry kata, they own what, do something lah like that. Do something like that. Mesti somebody did a house matrix for them. Tapi kalau dia kata, macam Harry katakan, Swash, let's do a collaboration with Adidas. Adidas is another brand. Adidas kata, okay, good. I give you certain logo, you just pay me certain royalties. Jadi dia sudah ada cut sikit dia kena bagi orang lain kan. Mungkin risiko dia besar. Katakanlah, for example, ada boycott against Adidas katakan, cannot sell my watch also, for example. Dia kena tengok dia punya house matrix juga. So all these things are very important. Dan masa yang saya ajar ni, dia sebenarnya bukan untuk dapat A lah dalam kelas ni. Dia sebenarnya untuk future lah. And how you look into business and things like that. That's why I say this subject you don't have to memorize. Nothing to memorize. Kan, semuanya make sense. Yes, it doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, forget about it. Apa ni, otak ni cerita apa kan? And doesn't make sense. Betul lah. Okey lah, rehat lah sekejap kot. Takkan tak rehat. Kan? Orang main bola pun 45 minit. Aku dah cakap 1,5 jam. Kan? Arsenal dah kalah 2 kali round dah.
Belum Prof. Besok malam 12.30 Prof. Second round. Jangan macam gitu. Prof budak collect Prof.
Mana tu?
Baju.
Oh ya. Ini dia ambil sikit je, dia tak ambil semua. Okay. So, okay. Now we have studied this thing about apa tu, how to write report yang kita dah tulis, macam mana kita nak belajar house matrix pun kita dah belajar. And then we touch on the aspect of vertical and horizontal integration. Okay. Vertical is important because you want to eat up you punya distributor ataupun you want to eat up you punya mana you punya supplier. So these things are very important. So when you answer the questions for the final exam pun, you boleh gunakan these scenarios lah. Buying things, buying companies and sebagainya lah. So Harry, I think you also deal with a few companies kan Harry kan? Berapa company you deal with untuk buat you punya jam?
Untuk engine saja 2.
Okay. Untuk design?
Untuk design kita sole. Untuk factory 4.
Okay. So all these things is actually business integration sebenarnya. Tetapi dalam case Harry ni, it's pretty much vertical integration. Dia bukan horizontal integration. Kalau horizontal ni, dia makan kawan-kawan sama yang satu business dengan dia lah. Dia tak ada. Dia sebenarnya vertical. Semua orang yang lain dia. Tapi dalam case ni, dia tak makan. Dia sebab dia outsource dan sebagainya. Dia bukan makan. Kalau makan is different. Makan means you own those companies lah. You own those companies kan. Biasanya kalau you tengok dulu recording punya companies for example. Okay, they start buying jual t-shirt for example. Sebab tu kalau you tengok some of the band katakan, bila dia produce dia punya t-shirt tu, sebenarnya t-shirt tu dia produce by dia punya brands. Dia dah beli company yang buat t-shirt. Kan? You understand tak? Dia bukan pakai yang generic ni tau. The generic ni ada a few of the good brands lah. Dia buat untuk few brands katakan. Dia buat untuk few bands katakan. Maknanya orang-orang ni dia tak boleh, dia outsource. Macam kata Harry punya business ni lah, dia outsource saja benda-benda macam kan. So lepas tu dia integratekan all these things and then it comes as a piece of watch dia jual lah under his brand katakan. Dan kalau dia beli pula satu lagi distributor, that means only these companies saja akan distribute dia punya watches katakan. So of course this company will use his name lah. Sebenarnya company itu company lain yang dia beli yang ada expertise dalam bidang distributions, marketing dan sebagainya. That is important. You can create all these scenarios lah untuk show the relevance of your business solution lah for financial needs. Okay. Now we talk about a lot of this. We talk about the hard aspect of new ventures. Sekarang ni kita nak talk about the soft aspect because you also need to talk about the challenges. Remember, the challenges I did briefly explain. Among other things is to iron up the new organization structure. Organization structures ni, I told you jawapan dia tadi. One of the easiest way to this thing is that you come up with the process flow. And bila you come up with the process flow, yang I told you, which is the water flow diagram tu, then you know who are the actors and what are the actions. You know the actors, you would also know how many actors do you need to do up. Therefore, you can look in your audit ada 100 tellers lah, maknanya orang yang jaga dekat depan kan, tellers kan dengan ni. Tapi kita tengok sebenarnya bila kita combine, some of the banks too has to, when they merge, then some of the branches are going to be closed. So bila kita tengok, actually we need only 60 tellers. So what will happen to the other 40 tellers? So you may want to have a few options. For example, you may want to send them to other departments. Even if you want to send to other departments, there must be a good according to the process flow tu. Kalau tidak ada, then you have to take other mechanism yang lain, ia dah termasuk BSS ke, whatever mechanism lah, separation process dan sebagainya. So you need to talk about this. So among other things dalam new business sebagainya, you need to talk cultural aspect. So doing things differently by different organization when you merge with them, these are the things that you need to meet well. Yeah. That's why a lot of the things that people forget is that they can do the hard aspect. That means buying and selling companies. That's not a problem. But they do not understand how to manage the soft aspect. About people relation, which is about to buy a new company organization, you may have to alter your business. The governance will also have to change. And on all these things, you need to manage. That's why the best answer when you want to, the best way to answer whatever question that is given to you, using the format that I've given just now, 62, always try to tackle from people, process, and technology. Because when you also merge companies, there are certain elements of technology that you need to iron up. For example, the system that they use. So you kena tengok benda ni. So dalam jawapan you ni, kita bukan nak tengok details tau. But we want to know, do you know what are the areas that you... Kalau kita kata jawab 10,000, no problem. You can even give some examples. Tapi kita nak suruh you jawab dalam 3 jam saja, dalam 3,000 perkataan. So this is what you are going to be tested sebenarnya. I'm only looking at your thought, not looking into the details of it. I take into consideration that this work is done over 3 hours. Even though the university gave you 1 or 2 weeks to do. But pada saya tak berbaloi lah nak buat. Saya buat memang 3 jam, 4 jam, macam tu ni standard. Okay? So you should know how you are going to be evaluated. Kan? How comprehensive is you punya answer for each section. More on the top. What you want to do here, what is going to be the next step, how are they interrelated. Remember, you are always going to be assessed into 3 things. Assessment, evaluation. So bila dalam conclusion dia tu memang sintesis lah sebenarnya. How does this affect the organization? Synthesis part always come in the mentions and conclusion, in the recommendations. Because in the recommendation, when you say, I recommend to do this, there must be some implication, overall implication to the organization. Kan you nak bagi satu recommendation saja. What if I take this recommendation, and then when I put them together, actually it become worse. Because this recommendation cannot be connected together. Please your recommendations and put them together, dia ada problem lain. Dalam statistik, you see, when in statistics, what you do is that you regress some of the data. After you regress the data, then only you can create a formula A plus B plus C equivalent to X. That means that in simple terms, X happens because of A plus B plus C. Correct? Isn't it? Now then you need to test. But before you can test that, you have to test every of the variable, every one of the variable. And then, okay, variable A, variable B, variable C, D are all relevant. But then when we put them together, some of the variable cannot work together. Dalam statistik, kalau kita belajar HPSS dan sebagainya, there is a way to test. So eventually, we put A, B, and B. C tak ada. C kalau kita campur, it create problem to this formula. Understand what I'm saying? Individually, yes. But collectively, that's why we said at the end of the day, we always look at synthesis part. Come up with a recommendation. How can you synthesize it in such a way that this is overall impact? For example, I can give you a very good example. Say, in order to iron up the merger issue, because some of the banks that you bought, they were, they are considered as smaller banks and when your benefits are not great. So when you combine the whole thing, then obviously you need to streamline your benefits, right? Benefits lah. Eventually, everybody yang daripada the smaller bank benefited. So mungkin ini menyebabkan orang yang duduk dalam the main bank are not going to be happy because the whole thing benefited the other group. So you may say that, hey, maybe these people will be morally affected. So in a way, to mitigate these issues, then perhaps we could come up with a different package altogether, which streamline for all the employees once they come together under a new group. So kita kena tengok benda-benda macam tu. Remember, when we talk about new ventures, it's not just that, but also that's why kita kata tadi, you buat your SWOT analysis, so mesti ada people, mesti ada technology, mesti ada processes. When you talk about the hard aspect, you only talk about the technology and also the process. Don't talk about the people. People comes under the. Okay, faham? I'm sure you dah belajar pasal dalam HR, you dah belajar dulu kan? You are belajar pasal talent management, mesti you belajar pasal succession planning, you belajar some organization behavior, organization culture. All these things you must put it in lah dalam you punya consideration on the soft aspect. Okay. Huh? Does it make sense to everybody? Right. So it makes it very easy kan you punya assignment ni. Macam-macam boleh tulis ni. Maybe I should put 5,000-6,000 lah kot. To make it more realistic lah. Kan? Harry pun cakap tadi, tak ada masalah. Harry kan? Kurang masalah lah.
Saya rasa kita punya ni recording Prof. Saya cakap ada masalah tadi.
Yelah, tadi start kata ada masalah. Tapi bila dia dah berjalan 10 minit, tak ada masalah kan? Tadi, I remember tadi kata nak outsourcekan you punya service kepada 2 orang lagi tadi. Bukan ke? Okay. So that is the aspect yang kita boleh cakap. And then remember, kita ada belajar dalam first week ke second week. Second week, I remember, Grafi, you presented on apa ni kan, unsolved matrix, remember? Jadi benda ni pun boleh masuk. So when you merge with another organization, then you can say that, okay, what happened to me now? So now I technically acquire bigger market share. So if I keep on doing the similar thing, it is what we call market penetration. Betul. Then you can put in that perspective. If you buy a company and they are not in the same business with you, then apa kita panggil? Penetration. Kan? Then benda-benda ni semua, term-term ni semua, you boleh gunakan. Tak ada masalah. Daripada hari pertama kita belajar, sampai hari ke akhir, kan? Memang itulah dia jawapan yang you boleh letak dalam you punya paper. Kan? So that's why you just need to angle it in the storyline yang make sense. I just want to see how you demonstrate your thought process lah. Itu sahaja. Okay, Gaddafi. Ada persoalan yang ada apa kecurigaan ke ataupun kesangsian ke? Ada?
Saya tak ada curiga. Saya memang jenis setuju je. Saya setuju dulu.
Dulu. Kalau ada masalah boleh outsource kepada kita punya Abang Harry ya.
Saya dah ada dah orang yang saya akan outsource kepada orang yang lebih pandai pada saya selalunya.
Oh, okey.
Harry dengan Chen ni lebih pandai pada saya lah. So
Okey,
saya
tak ada
selamat
masalah.
lah.
Chan dia tak ada masalah. Dia buat assignment ni bila dia nak pergi kapal dia tunggu kapal terbang. Jadi kita boleh tengok proper time frame. Betul Chan kan? Betul tak? Macam Gaddafi dia tak ada masalah. Dia dah A++. Dia dah apa immunity dah. Mana final exam tak payah buat. Kan I nak rekod dalam apa tu sistem pun dia kata over the chart. Kan nanti kena masuk markah dalam subjek lain pula. Boleh ke Harry? Boleh ke? Okay. Since you guys have done something similar, what I think would also be good lah. The things that kita dah belajar ni memang they are very useful. Very useful. What I suggest and I recommend, perhaps if you want to do inilah, just if you would like to do lah. I recommend that you use all the tools yang kita dah belajar. Dalam and kalau nak, you hantar je ke I pun tak. But at the end of the day, then I can comment whether you got this right or not dan sebagainya. Maka jangan risau. Maka ni kita kira settle. But what is more important is not the marks. What you learn and then how you present it dalam you punya. All these things yang kita dah belajar daripada hari pertama sampai sekarang ni, actually I guide you in the way that how they actually do dia punya report. Sebab tu tadi tu kita dah sampai ke dia punya analysis. Analysis is the Taos metric. The implications dia mesti ada efek kepada which is the people dan sebagainya. Lepas tu kita masuk ke recommendation, we talk about the soft aspect. Faham tak? Jadi ada apa-apa soalan ataupun you want to do something different. Kalau nak tulis something different pun boleh. You just say that. I don't like the case study. Can I do something on watch? Pun boleh, no problem. Tukar saja dia punya problem statement. Kan? Can also. Then you say, what's the point of me doing the what's the point of me doing the financial institution punya merger? But at the end of the day, doesn't benefit me. Why don't I do one on the Swatch punya ni? Can, no problem. You look at it and say that I like to use a case study of a watch business. Pun boleh, no problem. Kan? Boleh, no problem. Sebab at the end of the day, I yang nak bukan. Chan
That's 2,000 to 3,000 become more logic for us lah. Prof.
Can also.
I mean,
Maybe what I do is that I change the question a little bit and say that actually I tulis kat situ you can talk about any banks. Now I can say that using the same idea, you may also want to pick a different industry. Yalah, you pilih lah industri lain, you letaklah watches punya industri ke, you letaklah telco industri ke, ataupun apa-apa lah industri yang you rasa more interesting lah, transportation ke.
And,
Kan?
and you will get 3 different answer, Prof. More interesting for you to read.
Tolong cara dia. Saya setuju.
Baru kita boleh tengok Manchester punya jawab macam mana kan. Arsenal punya jawab macam mana kan. Now we know lah why one at number 10, one is at number 5 kan. One is top of the table lah.
Cuma
Kan?
saya risau tomorrow punya result tu tak akan menjejaskan
Ya.
Prof lah, tu je lah.
Yang I baca tomorrow's game will define where Arsenal finish lah. Kena ni banyak sangat belanja duit kan. Player dia terlampau banyak sangat yang terror sampai tak main. Betul lah. Betul Harry kan. You punya midfielder je dah dekat 8 orang lah. Yang terror dalam tu. Saya pun tak tahu bila masa dia nak main.
Tak apa, Prof.
Ah.
This gonna be the end of era of Liverpool. Klopp dah tak ada dah lepas ni.
Kalau tak tengok lagi siapa akan datang. Kan betul lah. Kan?
Dia ambil Panggon je tu.
Tapi kan balik-balik dia salahkan striker dia. Balik-balik dia kata Arsenal ni striker. Apa ni strikers dia kata. Yang hari tu, yang si Ramsey tu, bukan Ramsey, siapa pasal guys ni, yang Smith, apa nama dia? Pasal guys ni, yang British player tu. Dia pakai baju
Spiro. Emil
tak
Spiro.
main. Tak main pun. Bukan dia tu terror ke? Dia
main,
memang.
Itu dia main tu yang kita menang tu.
Yelah, tapi dia dah tak jadi regular kan. I think last 2 season
Dia
dia was
injury prone, Prof.
injury prone. But I thought dia ni macam adalah kalau dia play regularly, I think he can play for England kan. Dia pakai baju nombor 10 kan?
10.
Nombor 10 tu kau bagi. Lepas tu duduk atas bangku simpanan kan? Tak kan. Okeylah, tak apalah.
Hari
Itu
takkan nak biar orang Liverpool komen Arsenal je. Kenalah komen balik Liverpool tu.
dari Liverpool kurang sikit
Weh, batu
komen.
api ni weh, batu api weh.
Dia sebab on top of the table kan. Apa kan bagi komen banyak kan.
Gayat dia tu.
Bukan apa kalau bagi komen banyak kan menang semua pula kan. Kau orang marah kan. Okay. The other thing is that one of the things that you also need to understand dalam mergers and acquisition. Because last time when I went for an interview about 2 years ago lah. Saya pergi interview dekat Bank Pembangunan. So there was a few rounds. There was, I can't remember, was it 2 rounds of interview? Yeah, at least 2 rounds of interviews lah. One was with the directors, and then the next one was with the CEO, and then the last round was with the chairman. And I didn't get the job because when I met the chairman didn't. The chairman was still looking for somebody who can facilitate for bank mergers. Tetapi dia bukan nak tengok orang yang tahu pasal technical. Dia nak tengok orang yang tahu macam mana nak organize meetings, iron up stakeholders dan sebagainya. Because he said that this is the most. And then he said that I've done bank mergers twice. 1990 sekali, 2000 before 2010 sekali. So this is the third time that he's doing it. And he realized that when he talks about the technical aspect, many people can do it. But when you do technical aspect, you buat due diligence, you study banks to other, and you do all these audits. So you know how much you want to pay if you want to buy for the other banks, and then you also have an idea what you want to do, how much you have some idea in terms of business punya. Tetapi in reality, in order for you to get that done, there's a lot of other obstacles that you have to manage. Among other things ialah stakeholders punya expectation, employees punya relations dan sebagainya. Say that this is the most difficult part. That's why he said that I wanted somebody who not really understanding department. So I need somebody who go around and can talk to these stakeholders, that stakeholders, equal them to do this, and that's why when you do this part, yang you punya case study ni, you must somehow bring this method up lah. Dia punya soft aspects of the in ventures. Okay, this is outside of that. Dalam business ventures ni kita ada juga private equity and also venture capitalists. What I want you to do is that maybe next week ataupun the next time kita jumpa ni, since ada Chinese New Year soon. What I want you to do is that I want you to find out a little bit about what is private equity, PE, PE dengan venture capitalist. So there are differences between these, their appetite towards business lah. Apa dia punya nature ni? There are certain things that they look at, but many of these people, they are only interested in making money saja. Dia bukan nak stay dalam business tu. That means I don't really bother what business is as long as I can make money lah. Dia bagi seeding kan kepada you, then they always look at it from the perspective of when can I exit. Betul lah macam Harry kata tu. So the first thing that they count is that how many years do I want to be in this exit, and today if I spend 10 million, what is the ROI, my expectations of the return on investment after 3 years ke whatever number of years lah. They do some kind of projections, and then you must also understand they are very high risk taker lah. Mana kata they always deal, bukan always I mean many times they are seek after by the newcomers lah. Sebab tu biasanya newcomers ni dia tak ada track record dan sebagainya. So that's why they need funding. Ni orang ni lah yang akan datang. So biasanya dia akan evaluate the business proposal. That is what I want you. And then the other thing, can you also write this down? I want you to look what is a business canvas. Write down business canvas. Okay? Nampak tak? What is business canvas? Why business canvas is important? Why organization macam nak buat business ni? The venture ni kena look into business canvas. Okay. Can I ask you to Google? Sekejap ini copy image. How do I show this? How do I show this? Boleh nampak tak ni dekat ni? Business canvas. Dalam chat ni boleh nampak? Okay.
Ada nampak ada.
Okay. You tengok apa elemen-elemen dalam dia. Sebab itu bila you nak buat satu projek, biasanya you akan tengok business canvas ni. This is one of the ways for you to actually, okay, benda ni kita buat ni as a background punya ni tau. And the answers in there, you fit into you punya report. This is one of the methods. That's why I said I want you to have a look at business canvas. Business canvas ni apa tujuan dia? Key partners siapa? Key activities siapa? Key resources mana? Cost structure dia apa? Dia ada semua cerita-cerita dalam dia. Customers relationship. So dalam ni bila you buat satu business ventures, then you would understand these are the elements that you must put. Apart from the things yang kita nak buat lah. Jadi this is a go or no go. Benda-benda macam ni kita kena tengok lah. Does it make sense to you?
Prof, so kalau yang business canvas ni, yang ini ke Prof, sorry Prof, just asking, yang ni ke Prof nak kami masukkan kat dalam kita punya final?
You can also put this as part of you punya appendix, boleh, tak ada masalah. Sebab sebenarnya apa you punya jawapan tu report yang 6 section tu. Tapi dalam 6 section tu you kena masukkan SWOT analysis and so on. Actually dia fit into this punya quadrant ni sebenarnya dalam business canvas ni. Sebab tu business canvas ni dia bukan benda, dia bukan essay tau. Dia sebenarnya is an audit that you pick this thing and put it somewhere else in your punya slide. Sebab tu saya nak suggest when you do you punya apa kita panggil workshops lah, when you call your staff and do your workshop, so you may want to present this template to them. Ask them to fill up this template. Faham? I think this will benefit companies like macam Chan punya company. This will benefit because when you go abroad, you are dealing with so many different parties. So these are the things that you may want to check. You kalau tengok dalam tu, it is almost self-explanatory. Almost self-explanatory on what are the things that you need. And you play around it lah. Isilah apa-apa fakta-fakta yang ada kat dalam. Okay, boleh Boleh. So business canvas ni, dia sebenarnya template tu ada, tapi company kadang-kadang tak reti buat dan sebagainya, dia hire consultant. So the moment you hire consultant to do, then it's a lot of money. Okay, ini satu yang I nak you tengok lah. Satu lagi yang I nak you tengok, in terms of you punya recommendations, bila dekat dalam recommendation ada synthesis kan? You already say dalam recommendations you akan tengok daripada you punya analysis. Now, saya tak suruh you lagi tengok BCG matrix kan? Ada tak saya suruh you buat BCG matrix? Tak ada. Write that down, BCG matrix. So BCG matrix is also a very good tool for you to demonstrate where you were in the past and where you are now based on you punya merger punya story tu lah. Of course, BCG matrix ni is about market share and also market growth. Sebenarnya market share dengan market growth ni has something to do with you punya market structure. Kalau can you just open from your punya handphone tak? Boleh tak you buka dalam handphone you tengok, you type in apa itu BCG matrix. Why I said BCG matrix is also important is because you want to demonstrate where you are now and where you want to go, where you aspire to. Dalam BCG matrix dia ada 4 quadrant. Yeah? Remember, the axis tu is market growth versus market share. Market growth maknanya dia boleh berkembang banyak mana. Market share ialah lagi besar, lagi terror lah. Kan? Okay. Now, if you are somebody that has low market share, means when you have low market share, that means there are so many competitors lah kan, betul lah kan? Because we are only interested in people of the same size with you, same industry. Kita bukan letak semua orang dalam tu. But industry, where are we? So kalau kita kata we are in the competition with, katakanlah jam, let's talk about jam. So katakanlah dalam jam punya industry, then if you are somebody that competes intensely with so many people in the industry and your market share is very low, that means kalau market share very low dan juga so many people in industry, you punya growth pun mesti very low. So many people dalam industry yang dalam that particular business. That means you must be in the top quadrant. Kalau you tengok dalam BCG matrix, top ni dia punya market growth is small, dia punya market share is also very low. Faham? Ada satu lagi yang ditunjuk dekat situ, question mark. Question mark is that the market share dia tu adalah low kan? Market growth dia tu tinggi. Apa dia? Kenapa dia jadi macam? Usually, they are a small company that tiba-tiba dia dapat satu benda baru. If you very good example. Then if you go to Loyat kan? You tahu Loyat kan? Everybody has gone to Loyat before. Tempat yang jual komputer tu kan? Okay. Now, do you know the person yang buat pen drive ni daripada mana tak? Tahu? Malaysia. Now, this pen drive was introduced in, I think, sometime in 2002, 2003, during that time lah. So, masa tu dalam Malaysia, kalau you nak cari pen drive ni, bukan you boleh beli kat supermarket. You got to go to Loyat. Now, the companies dalam Loyat ni semua company yang kecil-kecil and they are selling all these computer gadgets. So let's assume that all of them are in the dog quadrant. Because they are small, they are intense competitions, and then their market growth is low because there's so many people competing in the same kind of business. So imagine one person like company XYZ ni, dia pergi Taiwan because this thumb drive ni dia tidak issue dekat Malaysia, dia issue kat Taiwan kan. Dia jual kat Taiwan. So assuming that this guy had some ideas and then he went to Taiwan and he bought 200 pieces and come back to Malaysia. So people like me who was doing my PhD at that time had to buy something like 128 megabyte tu dekat RM100, RM120. Sekarang ni tak ada harga kan. Masa tu mahal lah. 128 mega tu kira terror lah tu. So this guy, he can put whatever price he likes. So he is the only one person that has that thumb drive tu. So that's why he moved into the question mark. So his friend, his neighbor dapat tu, ini mana dia pergi, dia pun beli. Di Taiwan dia beli, tapi dia tak jual RM120, dia jual RM110. Sebab dia nak beat kawan tu punya price, dia try to cut through. After 30 days, everybody gone back to the top order. Because why? All the shops dekat Lokyat sudah ada itu thumb drive. That's why they go back to the top. Kejap dia naik atas, ke question mark, suddenly dia punya market growth tu tinggi. Tetapi dalam masa yang tak berapa lama, dia turun. That's why the question mark is always a temporary punya. Now, if you manage to go to Taiwan and have what we call an agreement with the producer and say that I'm the only company in Malaysia that can produce ataupun can distribute thumb drive ni, that means after this I go to the daripada question mark tu, I can retain that, then I become a monopoly. Sebenarnya monopoli ni kedudukannya adalah dekat kau punya kontrak. Sebab apa? Remember I told you if you buy the book on the market structure argument, you will know that monopoly dia punya growth tu very low. Because dia banyak wastage. Dia punya motivation untuk berkembang tu very low because dia dah terlampau besar. The market share is so huge that the growth level is low. Itu adalah monopoly. Yang gambar star tu is usually oligopoly companies. Oligopoly companies usually in the star. Okay? Dia punya market, dia punya growth ialah tinggi and dia punya market share pun tinggi. Faham tak? Dia bukan monopoli. The reason is that because kalau you belajar oligopoly market structure, they try to innovate. Dia kena berkembang selalu sebab they try to beat their friend. Remember, in oligopoly market structure, they always compete on non-price competition. So they always come up with some new ideas, this idea. Macam Shell katakan dia nak beat Petronas, make sure dia kereta dia lah. Petronas pula banyak jual baju lah. You know, everybody try to innovate on something different. Okay, boleh faham? Okay, so the cow is always monopoly. The star is oligopoly. Question mark is usually a monopolistic in the short run. Because in the long run, if they cannot sustain, they go back to the top. If they can become the only player, they go to the monopoly punya position. If, for example, kalau dia ni pergi Taiwan, dia dapat right of selling, tapi kawan tu kata, I cannot give you a sole distributor right. I will give to 3 or 4 other people. This yang jual. Macam si Harry kata tadi lah. I give this contract to 4 companies. Apply. Then these 4 people will go into the star quadrant because they become oligopoly. So you boleh tunjuk structure you punya jawapan tu dekat recommendation where I was, where I'm expected to be after the merger. Now my market share is becoming bigger, I punya growth lagi besar ke, tengoklah. Ataupun suddenly I eat everybody, ataupun I tak eat everybody, but because of this merger, other people become very small lah. I capture about 90% of the market. So it share, I'm not bothered about it. Understand? Okay? Ya, pening kepala. Pening sikit. Ada pening sikit. Ada pening ke tak ada pening?
Ada pening, ada pening. Ada pening. Tidak lagi tengah malam lagi pening.
Tengah malam pening. Apa tak pagi ni kita habis cepat sikit. Bagi cepat sikit. Bagi laluan kepada orang yang banyak sangat dia absorbkan dia alamnya share pula aku masuk kelas ni. Actually ya, dia sebenarnya kalau nak belajar ni dia sebenarnya I think lah. Honestly, it has to be longer. Has to take longer. Because dia cakap-cakap macam ni, okay. Dia macam khutbah lah. Cakap khutbah kan. Saman. Kan. Tapi dia tak ada practicality. Dia kalau yang kelas fizikal tu dia ada practicality. Dia ada summon action. Jadi senang sikit. Bila kita cakap-cakap macam ni, okay, you dapat tagak. Tapi bila nak praktikan tu, macam mana nak gerak dia? Dia tak ada. Lepas tu dia tak ada dia punya practical. Apalah. Kan? Sebab each we have some idea. Tapi connectivity tu memang buku dia tak cerita. Dia hanya cerita business campus ni apa, BCG ni apa, pandai-pandai kau lah kau guna macam mana kau nak integrate tu, pandai-pandai. Hari ni tak berapa gembira. Aku rasa dia risau besok. Nak kena balon dengan Liverpool ni.
Okey bro. Cuma saya tengah fikir macam mana saya tengah nak bayangkan apa soalan Prof for the final.
Betul.
And apa yang saya nak buat untuk saya punya part. Adakah masih lagi maintain on the merging ke yang Prof do ni, ataupun apa yang saya nak kena buat, ataupun is about the structure of my company ke apa ke?
I think better you company you je. You decide lah. This is my business plan for the future.
Okay.
I want to buy ke, I want to ni ke, I nak kena ada distributor ke, you buat itu je habis kita.
Okay. Then there's no wrong answer lah, because it's like
Kalau orang rasa kena tukar CEO lah kot. Gitu kan. Tiba-tiba ada
memang itu okey apa.
kan. Senang je. I think this is more relevant.
I mean it's kalau Prof cakap sebab 3,000 tu, nanti kita lagi banyak lah benda untuk cerita because kita in that field.
Actually ada 3,000 ni tak ada apa benda sebenarnya. Betul. Bila you dah start menulis
Kalau
analisis.
Tapi kalau
masuk betul.
Kalau Prof tanya pasal bank, mungkin jadi 300 je lah. Yang kita tahu kalau servis lambat, maki je Prof tu je.
Hari ni dia bukan fikir gitu. Dia fikir lepas ni, buat ni, ni. Fatimah buat. Buat ni, yang ni. Aku tahu kau combine. Sebelum hari Selasa, siap. Tu compiler.
I
Dan
don't
compiler.
think so the stuff now until that extent lah, Prof. No lah. If you ask the degree student also, they don't up to that level pun.
Dia sebenarnya dia macam ni. Dia okey. Dia budak degree ni. Dia tidak diajar. That's not dia punya. Adalah berfikir. Bukan tak. Dia ajar more on the knowledge. Faham tak? Dia knowledge ni lain. Dia punya application ni kau kena hafal. Kau kena faham. Nanti bila exam soalan kau lah, aku tanya balik apa yang aku dah ajar kau. Dia, itu soalan dia. Jadi kalau you pergi tanya soalan yang application, that's not fair. Dia tak ada idea dekat luar. Dia duduk dalam kelas dia mana dia ada pengalaman ni, dia cannot see the logic pun kadang-kadang. Even though dia 20 years old, 21 years old. Kan, dia tak sama dengan orang 35 tahun. Walaupun beza dia 15 tahun. But this fella has a couple of years experience. Yang ni dia tak ada. We got to ask you the fundamentals. The fundamentals, what are the, do you know or you do not know? Jadi kalau dia tak belajar, dia tak tahu. So dalam postgraduate ni, kita bukan saja fundamental. The fundamental we assume you know already. So now is the application side. That's why many people can do. Kalau kita suruh dia balik buat degree, dia pening kepala. Because bila degree ni, kita kena check, you tahu ke you tak tahu. Maknanya simple answer. Very objective. You know, you do not know. You know, you do not know. You know, do not know. Ada atau tak ada? Tak ada. Dia kurang sikit lah. Soalan dia tu kurang. Then we have to check into details lah. Maknanya kalau kita buat SWOT analysis tu betul. Kita tak check dia punya proses. Sebab tu kebanyakan buku-buku yang dijual kat luar tu sebenarnya untuk undergraduate, bukan untuk graduate. Nah, sebab tu kadang-kadang bila I tengok cikgu yang mengajar master pun terpaksa pakai buku yang budak yang mengajar undergraduate. Sebab dia dalam master ni, sebab buku, I tak jumpa satu buku yang mengajar orang berfikir. Semua buku is about knowledge. They assume the person who buys the book has no idea.
It's
So
teori
they-
more teori bro Masih
Ya,
teori.
ya. Dalam master ni sebenarnya application from the theories. Jadi the application tu dia ada 2-3 benda yang dia cover. Jadi buku macam mana dia nak buat macam tu? Takkan dia nak buat dalam buku bentuk buku cerita. Kalau ada orang boleh buat buku dalam cerita macam saya cerita ni, saya tu dia katakan. Ya, buku kena buat. Betul tak kan? For people to follow. Apa logik dia ni, apa logik dia ni, apa logik ni kan. Tak ada orang buat macam tu. So you fikir, orang ni ajar growth and also market. Certain books don't want to talk about it because BCG is a brand name by Boston Consulting Group. Orang akan tanya, kenapa kau tak guna McKinsey ke apa guna? Sebenarnya, untuk menjawab soalan tadi tu yang pasal hard aspect and soft aspect, kita boleh guna McKinsey 7S. Cuba you tengok McKinsey 7S. McKinsey 7S has the element of hard aspect and soft aspect. The merging, you boleh tengok 7S. Mana you nak address the 7S? McKinsey 7S. Letak dia. McKinsey 7S. So McKinsey 7S ni, it's all about 7S lah. S ni dah dia boleh start dia as style, system. You boleh baca dekat situ. These are the hard aspect and this is the soft. Okay, McKinsey 7S. Again, in some books they don't want to talk about this because they promote brand lain. McKinsey punya brand. Nanti Baines pula tanya apa? Kenapa ada BCG, kenapa ada McKinsey tapi tak ada Baines. Dia tahu Watson. Ini semua brand. So McKinsey come up with this. Some other people, they don't want to use 7S, they use a different name, but the idea is similar. Kalau you panggil McKinsey untuk buat, you panggil McKinsey. Hey, I'm doing a merger. I do not know what to look at. Okay, let's look at the 7S. Let's see what are the things that happen after they merge. In terms of system, can you do the audit? How many system you have? How many system you have? And then what are we going to do? That is a system. Hey, let's check. This fella, dia punya autocrat. Ini demokrat. Yang ini apokrat pula kan. Okay. Jadi, you can question, you can do the audit and then you can streamline. Understand? So 7S is also another element that you can use to differentiate what are the aspect. So sebenarnya dia banyak benda sebenarnya kita boleh discuss pasal ni. Even kalau you nak cari lah, kalau ada kalau people wants to do a longer punya assignments yang panjang-panjang, mana I nak derive kepada the problem. How do I derive at my problem statement? Untuk derive at the problem statement, the thought process is need to do a fishbone analysis. Tahu ke fishbone kan? You dah belajar kan? Fishbone is to identify what is the problem statement sebenarnya. I have this issue, this is the problem. Macam mana I nak derive it? That's why I do the fishbone analysis. From the fishbone analysis, I already know these are the things that I need to tackle. So these are the things I need to tackle. It's in the findings. In the analysis, I collaborate all these findings. Dia jadi the analysis of it. And then I can give it. Sebenarnya, ada certain people, they want to do it elegantly. They derive the problem statement from the fishbone analysis. Tapi saya tak, ini saya ajak awak ni because you are going to be big bosses. But for this 3,000 words, you memang tak boleh nak masuk ke ni lah. Faham tak? So we assume you already know what is the problem. To take it from that place value lah. So that's why I said, some people, bila saya bagi exam, 3 hours when in the exam, have about 20 tools that. And then I tell them, you figure out lah. Dalam masa 3 jam, you nak jawab report dalam 20 muka surat. Biasanya kalau dalam exam, saya expect people to write about 20 pages. They can write. 100 semua orang boleh tulis lah. Even the CEO atau ni, the top management dalam TNB pun, they all can write 20 pages. Memang boleh. 3 jam. You already know all these tools. And then, kita bukan minta you. Kita minta bagi idea saja. Then I said, okay, give it to you to write your report. Some people want to be very elegant. Buat fishbone analysis. Tapi dia tak, bila dia buat fishbone tu, dia bukan buat satu jawapan. Dia letak tu, dia letak 2 saja. Dia letak 6. Kan kita ada yang 5 husband, 1 wife tu kan. Tapi dia buat 2 je. Dia nak menunjuk, I know what to do. If I have the time, I do 6. Tapi dia lukis lah yang ni, bilang ni, lepas tu dia acah. Faham tak? Jadi kita tahu apa boleh buat. Jadi, okay, based on this, problem. Atau SWOT analysis pun dia buat 1-2 je. 1-2 point ni. 1-2 point sini, 1-2 point sini. Nak menunjukkan, actually I know what I'm doing. Itu je sebenarnya kita test. Kan? Jadi itu yang dia boleh dapat sampai 20 muka surat. Dia buat sikit-sikit, lepas tu dia cerita. Dia spend time really thinking. I just want to demonstrate, I know the thought process. Itu saja. Jan Okay, ada apa-apa nak tanya? I think banyak sangat hari ni cover tak? Nanti orang pun pening kepala kan. Orang nak pergi saya, kau hifat coy pun susah. Kan, ini macam tidur ni. Kan, cikgu botak ni macam-macam hari ni ada aja. Okey, ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya tak?
Tak ada, Prof.
Okey. Harry, ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya ni? I think you can do lah, Harry.
So
You
far tak
maybe what you can do, Harry, maybe one of the things you can do is that you, once after you dah belajar these things semua kan, I think like you all semua yang bos-bos ni, you, what you can do is that you ask your staff lah, macam okay, let's share some ideas, and then you balik, you figure out how these things can be done. Okay. What you can do is that you give them this sort of assignment untuk company. Today, let's do a SWOT analysis. Based on this, let's do a task matrix. Next year, kita need to do some business planning. Go on the canvas. Okay, guys, these are the things I nak you tengok. Therefore, bila kita buat kita punya new business plan for next year, I want to see the thought process. How is this done? How is this derived? Okay, before ni kita ada whatever it is, tapi kita tak buat secara proper lah. So, these things can be done lah sebenarnya.
saya punya idea lepas saya buat paper Prof ni, saya campak kat dia orang, saya cakap make good of this paper, saya cakap brief me before Hari Raya. So basically saya nak tengok lah, so mana yang diorang tak faham kat situ, diorang pergi Google lah. Saya nak make good lah.
Lepas tu kau pula cana. Kau tahu
Saya
bos.
tak make good, saya ada 3 jam je Prof, tak sempat. So diorang make good.
Tak ada, kau cakap dengan dia, you better do something about this, I got for this, kan? Fill in the blank. Kan? Kan?
Saya suruh dia buat presentation ke.
Actually, one of the things that sometimes I get the comment from the students, sebelum kita buat project paper betul, kita pergi kelas you dulu. Lepas tu jadi project paper tu jadi seni. Kan? Because then you have so many elements that you can put inside the project paper. Okay? Chan, ada apa-apa nak tanya, Chan? Bila nak pergi Cambodia?
Lepas raya Cina, bro. Sir.
Berapa lama pergi?
Biasanya
Berapa lama
pergi
pergi?
sehari 2 je saya pergi.
Oh, sehari 2 je. Oh,
Tak lama.
Lama lah.
Sebelum kahwin pergilah 4-5 hari je. Dah kahwin tak. Kena pergi 1-2 hari je.
But you have a specific office kat sana.
Ada?
Adalah dekat sana
We have
memang
a,
ada. You punya team memang ada permanent dekat sana.
yes, we have local Cambodians and also the C mostly Malaysian lah.
Oh, I see. So,
Yeah, C level support.
tapi yang C level yang kat sana, tapi dia duduk sana ke dia duduk Malaysia juga macam you?
My CEO and country manager, they have to stay there.
Oh,
Then
they
my
have.
COO is staying here. But
Oh,
he fly there quite frequent lah because dia baru kahwin. Baru
oh,
kahwin ada anak, so okay lah. Yeah. If not, then he have to stay there as well lah.
okay lah.
Kalau tidak, I kena pergi sana.
So yang lain tu is locals lah.
Yes, most of them are locals. Most of them are locals. Only the C levels and two of the project managers are Malaysian.
Oh, okay. Alright.
But we bring
Okay.
a few partners over there as well, MCMC. Last time we did Syrian, I brought Syrian over to Cambodia. I was drafting their national accreditations legal framework. So I introduced Syrian to them, partnership, and then I brought in Standard Malaysia to go over there.
Bagus tu. Lot of
Kena
things.
nak kembangkan Malaysia kan.
Yelah. And then I think dia also have a banyak stock for beras pun banyak kan?
They are the highest producer in the world.
Yeah.
In actual fact, most of the fragrant rice from Thailand is actually from Cambodia, but there's a sanction. The Cambodian fragrant rice must go to Thailand. Yeah, but in actual, they are the biggest rice producer. Last time Bernas was to me as well because they wanted to have connections with Cambodia. Because I know the chairman of Cambodia Rice Association, which is the Prime Minister's son-in-law.
Yeah.
The Bernas was like trying to hook up. There was one point of time Malaysia have a shortage of rice.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Itulah. Actually, Bernas ni sebenarnya dia jadi tukang beli kepada beras-beras for other brands kan. Because yang lain-lain tu dia pakai nama saja. Tapi
Yes.
beras is the importer. Bernas is the importer.
Yes.
Nanti Jasmine ke siapa ke Faiza ke whoever dia just label saja.
Yes.
Itu trik dia saja sebenarnya.
Yes.
Kan? Kita ni pula ingat ini semua company tu dia tanam sendiri, dia buat sendiri semua. Jadi dia packaging saja. Betul ke Harry? Kan? Harry pun balon rambutan. Harry rambutan boleh. Minggu depan Faiza pula. Punya dia datang daripada kilang sama. Betul eh?
Betul.
I think we have covered quite a lot of things today. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, but I think it's good that you have some idea about what is business. That one is important for you. Again, please don't use all these things in you punya 3,000 lah. Dia memang tak lengkap nanti. Apa banyak sangat dia jadi kan. But the whole idea is not for you to show that you know all of them, but you know how to use some of them to make sense of your answer. Okay? BCG metric. Sebenarnya benda-benda ni kan, dia yang paling bagus dia ialah bila you nak buat thesis. Itu bagus. Bila you nak buat thesis yang, berapa banyak you kena buat you punya Viva ni? 10,000.
Tak sama Prof, ada yang banyak, ada yang sikit ikut pada apa tajuk yang dia research tu lah.
And eco-supervisor, Prof.
Eco-supervisor, ada supervisor suruh banyak, ada supervisor tak suruh banyak.
So, roughly berapa? Roughly lah.
The best is not less than 15,000 lah.
Not less than 15. Yelah, dia biasanya macam tu lah range dia dalam 15,000. Some people say 12,000 to 15,000 begitu. Kan? Jadi kalau you buat dalam macam tu, it's nice to include all this thing in, and it makes very good answer. 3,000 tak boleh buat benda macam ni, tak boleh. Sikit saja tool boleh pakai. Sebab tu my students ni biasanya dalam 3 jam ni dia akan pakai mungkin 8 ke tools ke. 8 saja tools, tapi itu pun dia tak lengkapkan. Ya? So Chan, ada apa-apa lagi nak tanya Chan? Sebelum Chinese New Year tak ada.
Oh, good,
Harry
sir.
ada apa-apa lagi? Okey. Harry hari ni dia tak berapa seronok lah. Kalau tak dia banyak cerita.
Okay.
Okey hari ni. Dia minggu depan dia jual jam Anwar Ibrahim, dia seronok gila lah. Jam Anwar Ibrahim ni warna apa? Warna hitam ke?
Saya tu lah tak ada design dia dekat dalam ni. It's black.
Black lah.
Hey, share screen lah, Harry.
Tak ada. I got no design dekat sini. Dalam
Oh.
MacBook. Dalam Mac dekat office.
Oh.
Harry, dia yang macam special edition ni ada tak yang macam yang lama-lama punya yang habis jual? Ada tak? Dia tak ada. Semua habis.
Selalu sold out.
Masuk out lah. Lepas tu bila sold out memang tak buat lagi.
Tak buat, ada kontrak. Dia tak bagi.
Oh, dia tak bagi.
Prof, buatlah satu untuk MCKK. Sedara dah buat dah.
Oh, ya ke?
Sedara buat 100 unit sold out within one night je.
Oh,
Berapa
tu
dia
dia
jual,
soft dia tu. Soft suruh buat tu.
Dia berapa dia jual lah? 2,000 lebih.
Ini cerita kat sini lah, Prof. Saya buat jam tu kos 800. Sedara jual 1,500, Prof.
Oh. Dia sebenarnya
713 ham.
okey, dia sebenarnya macam ni tau. Dia budak-budak ni I tengok lah kan, dia sebab batch ni dia orang suka buat dia orang punya sendiri. So setiap batch tu dia ada, katakanlah dia tak kisahlah, ada setengah batch dia buat dengan ada setengah buat dengan I do not know how they do it, but then they manage to put the engraving dekat dia punya face tu tau. Batch apa, tapi dia tak tukarlah design tu, dia cuma engraving saja. Kadang-kadang dia engrave dekat face, tapi most of the time people engrave kat belakang sajalah. Engrave kat belakang tu you beli, lepas tu you hantar kedai, dia buat engraving belakang lah. Dia tak ada buat macam you punya ni special punya kan, khas, can come out with your own design lah kan. Kalau macam automatic pun ada juga kan. Jadi
Automatic nak Japan nak Swiss.
kalau Swiss pun ada juga
Ada 7 bulan.
Oh, itu kalau macam tu minimum berapa harga kalau Swiss?
Swiss engine saja dalam engine saja, Prof, dalam 1,000 lebih.
1,000 lebih lah. Kalau Japan murah sikit lah.
Japan murah sikit.
Baguslah. Bagus. Benda-benda macam ni kita boleh belajar. Baguslah. So I look forward lah. Nanti I change the question and then I take, you can pick whichever industry that you're comfortable with and then you can explain. I think it makes better sense. Then people are not tied up to do some research on financial institution. Actually the thought process is the same. Kan? Cumanya financial institution you kena tahu sedikit lah pasal financial punya ni kan. Tapi sebenarnya sama aja. Tak ada beza. The thought process is similar lah. Okay, Grafi, ada apa-apa nak tanya? Nanti kan banyak benda nak kena share-share lagi next week ni.
Oh, saya puas hati malam ni. Saya banyak belajar.
Okay, dia kalau you beli some books on the strategic management, BCG Matrix ada, McKinsey selalu tak ada, Business Canvas kadang-kadang ada, kadang-kadang tak ada. Selalu tak ada. Selalu tak ada. Jadi I can understand because benda-benda ni dia, sebab buku ni, Business Canvas ni sebenarnya is a summary tau of many things. That's why dia tak buat dalam buku. Because buku-buku ni sebenarnya dia akan tackle satu-satu dalam kotak tu. Jadi dia tak jadikan Business Canvas. Jadikan that you have to think that you want to come up with the Business Canvas ni, somebody has done the thinking. Faham tak? Sebab buku-buku yang you beli tu ialah knowledge. Knowledge they like to discuss in particular satu-satu. Yang ini dia dah summary kan semua, bubuh masuk dalam tu. So that's a different thing altogether lah.